Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Hope you still enjoying your Christmas holiday. And then as we go into New Year, today I have played 4 or 5 college games. I finally won one yesterday, UTSA over, finally over 50, 54, 55. They scored an 80. So finally there, I did hit the under in the Central Michigan Northwestern. I didn't play it. And I also hit New Mexico, and I didn't play that. But now, starting to see winners, I'm starting to play again. So I played 4 games today. If you buy, I have locked the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day playoff games. I have 2 locks there, as I said, and then I got 3 locks going in the pros today and tomorrow. I had one. I had Dallas was an initial lock, played on Thursday with a Sunday game. Then I played another lock on with the pros, and we'll go over the news. So let's get into football now, and then we'll get into gold and stuff. Houston and San Diego. San Diego was 1.5, 2, 39.5, 40 to Houston. Houston 14-1 in a teaser this year, 32-2 over the last 2 years. Yeah, they beat Oakland. They weren't really interested. They got the win. C.J. Stroud played terribly, but here, this is the big game. This is a game they have to try to catch Jacksonville, who should beat Indiana with Rivers again. So Houston, so this is both teams need it. San Diego's in. Houston, I think, is in, but could lose if they lose the last 2 and Indy wins the last 2. Highly unlikely because Indy plays Jacksonville, who needs it for their division, but that's what could happen. So Houston could be out if they lose 2. So take that for where San Diego's in. So a little more desperate on Houston's side. Baltimore, Green Bay, we've got that's Stroud against Huntley. Let's go through the whole thing. Houston, an 18 with the 17 defense. San Diego, an under with a 20. These are last 5 numbers, which gives us a much clearer view of the team. Can you behold peace, Teaser King? How are you? Good morning. I don't know what to call you yet. Can you behold? I'll call you Behold. It's like Cool Hand Luke. I give you your ball game name. And I forgot my pita bread, but I did remember it. It's a little burnt, but it's surprisingly you can eat this like that. Peace to you and good luck today if you're betting. Let me get back into this. So that's Houston. So Houston, very strong defense, as we know, as does San Diego. And then you have Houston's in a must-win where San Diego is not, and the tackles. Yeah, again, this is the pros, and the backup tackles have been playing 6-7 weeks, so they're okay. Not that Joe Alt and the other guy are so great anyway. That'll haunt them for the rest of their franchise, taking Joe Alt over Brock Bowers. Big mistake. Baltimore, Green Bay. Green Bay 338.5. This line keeps moving for some reason. Baltimore an under team with the 20 defense. Green Bay an E team with the 21 defense. this game should be in the 20s. I think the total is a little low. Huntley against Willis is what it looks like. Love's out. Lamar hasn't practiced, and he's doubtful. So let's assume Huntley against Willis, and I'm fine with that matchup. I think Huntley's better than Lamar, and I think Willis is just as good as Love. I don't find that Lamar and Love are all that. I know they try to make Lamar, he's the best that ever played, but he's not. He's not even good. And especially this year, he sucked. So I think they have a good chance with Huntley against Willis. It's a low total, I think, 38. From what I watched Willis last week against the Bears, he looked fine. He's running his options. Now he is a little banged up, but he'll play. When a guy like Willis gets a chance to start, he's not banged up anymore. And then Huntley looked pretty good. So I have no problem with the backups. This is do or die for Baltimore. They lose, they're out. They will play a good game. Green Bay has, thanks to the Lions, are not do or die now. They're playing for the division against Chicago, but they are not do or die. So they're in the playoffs if they win or lose, which is a big difference. I think Baltimore is a very live dog with that comment I just made. They're better off without Lamar anyway. And Huntley's a good backup. So today's games, Houston really is a must-win, and Baltimore is definitely a do or die. So those are the two with the back against the walls. All right. Seattle, Carolina tomorrow. Now we go to Sunday. We got Seattle 742.5. We got Seattle an 18 with the 17 defense, and Darnell. They're 6-1 as a road dog, 12-3 overall against Carolina, an 18 with the 23 defense. Steve Young, 5-1 as a home dog. They're very, very inconsistent. They lose to the Rams, to the New Orleans twice, which tells me they struggle against good defensive teams, and we have a very good one with Seattle here. So, Seattle needs the game. They're going for the 1 seed, and they haven't even won the division yet. They got the Rams and the Niners to worry about. They got the Niners next week. So this is must-win for Seattle. Not must-win for Carolina because Carolina plays Tampa next week. So even if they lose, they'll both be 8-8. If Tampa wins, Tampa's 7-8, and then they play next week for the division. So really it's a Seattle game all the way. The better team, better defense. New England and the Jets. New England playing for the 1 seed. They're the 8 team. New England's 13.5, 42.5. New England an 8 team, 22 defense. Drake May. The Jets a Z team with the 32 and Brady Cook. Now Brady Cook was not bad at Missouri, but they're not playing Oklahoma this week. Play against the Jets 13-2 this year. New England 7-0 as a road dog and 14-1 in the teaser this year. You got to like New England. They especially they still want to win the division, and Buffalo's got Philadelphia in a big game. So I'm sure New England's going to go all out. And I think they'll bury them. This is one time where I'm scared to lay 13. Well, in this case, against the JETSs with Brady Cook, I'm not scared to lay the 13. Tampa Bay, Miami. Tampa Bay 644.5. Down from 46. Baker against Ewers. No teaser trends here. They're both E teams with 25 defenses, which means that Tampa's trends don't include now Evans and Godwin are back. So when you got the second, third string out there, they're not going to score as much. However, when you got Evans and Godwin back, then they should put up more points. Tampa in a must-win here, do or die. Backs against the ropes. They have to win. If they lose, it's all over. So they have to win. Go Tampa. I heard in Detroit, I'm in Detroit, and there's in the radio, they're saying between Baker and Golf. Well, golf went to Minnesota and couldn't beat Browsmer, a high school quarterback. That's where we understand where golf stinks. In a must-win game against a high school quarterback, he doesn't show up. Now watch what Baker does tomorrow. All right. This is where you'd rather have Baker. This is the point. You'd rather have Baker. Yeah, you can look at stats, but that's a real stupid thing to do this year because Godwin and Evans have been out most of the year, so he hasn't had his top two receivers. Imagine golf without St. Thomas and the Alabama guy. He'd have 5 touchdowns, right? So when you want to compare, you can't compare like touchdowns and interceptions because they're meaningless when your top 2 receivers are out and they got St. Thomas and Williams or whoever the other guy is. I don't remember Alabama players, Georgia players, but not Alabama players. So, I mean, you can't compare. It's what you compare is the heart. Yes, him driving the stake at Ohio State. Did golf ever do that in college? No. Golf was throwing in a lot of interceptions. And he ran a very good, wide open offense, one of these Texas Tech offenses when he was at Cal. And then at the Rams, he couldn't win with Sean McVay. Sean McVay traded him because he knew he was terrible. So the Lions pick him up. Oh, what? Well, he'll be good for us. Well, Ben Johnson figured out some good plays and these running plays and this play action pass that golf can do. But as soon as you take the run away and when you have no offensive line, then golf shows you what he really is, and he really sucks. And the Lions have overpaid $50 million, and now they can't get defensive players because they put $50 million into this useless backup quarterback. Don't tell me golf's good. He's not. All he had to do was beat Minnesota in Minnesota with the 3rd string quarterback, and he lost. He threw. There was 6 turnovers in the game. He fumbled twice, and he had the 3 or 4 interceptions. So don't tell me he's great. When you needed him, he didn't show up. Watch the Baker. We'll see the Baker tomorrow. I will guarantee Tampa Bay beats Miami. Right? Absolutely. And that's not even my lock, but I really like Tampa in the game. They have to win. It's Miami's got Ewers. All right, that's one reason I really like it is Ewers sucked at Texas. Why they're playing him, I don't know. And they got a 24 defense. So I just Tampa's defense won't stop them, and Ewers ain't going to do anything against Tampa. So anyway, Jacksonville, Indy, Jacksonville 5.5, 48.5. This has gone up from 46.5. What, Phillip Rivers lost 10 years or what? The Antonio Gates is now playing for Indy. We got an A team in Jacksonville. This is really a hidden team. They are very good, even though they suck, but not this year. They're an A team with the 17 defense. Lawrence still stinks. They're 12-3 in a teaser against Indy, who's an under team with the 23 defense and Rivers, and they're going south bad. Jacksonville with a very strong defense. Rivers will have a hard time. And Jacksonville just runs the ball most of the time. They run it, give it to Atney, and then Lawrence runs because he can't throw. What's with the haircut of Lawrence? Okay, that was terrible at Clemson. I thought he looked like an idiot, but he's been in the pros, 6-7 years? He can't come up with a different haircut? Or is he Samson? He needs the long hair to play. Don't really like Lawrence, but I do like Jacksonville, and I do think they're very strong tomorrow. I think I played them. It's tough now because I got so many plays between all the college bowls, college playoffs. I have, like I said, posted the college playoffs. There's a lock there that is posted if you bought. Even though it's next week, I'll move it to next week. But now you can get it and bet it instead. So Jacksonville 12-3 in a teaser. Again, a nice 17 defense, and they're going to run it down Lundy's throat. Yeah, Indy's got the running back Taylor, but that's about it. Rivers, yeah, he's 5 years too old. So, all right. New Orleans and Tennessee. New Orleans 2.5, 39.5. Who cares? Shell against Ward. New Orleans an under team with an 18 defense. So they're playing very good defense. I heard some guy on BetMGM say that New Orleans defense was bad. And I'm like, no, they got an 18 defense. It's very good. What are you talking about? These guys, so this is the problem. You listen to BetMGM, the guy says the defense sucks. You think he knows what he's talking about, and the defense sucks. And he's out of his mind. I'm going by stats. Last 5 games, average 18 points a game. Now, I'm sure they played a jet game or whatever, but they did beat Carolina twice in that 5, who is not really that good, but still, they've won some games. So how do you measure New Orleans, right? Tennessee's just terrible. Cam Ward's terrible. Why he's playing, I have no idea. They're an E team with the 26 defense. They're really kind of an over team because they scored 25, 26, give up 26. Play against Tennessee in a teaser, 12-3 this year. Pitt and Cleveland. No, this game we have to wait. I will play it. I will play it tonight after the Baltimore Green Bay game. If Baltimore wins, we're betting Pitt because then Pitt has to win. If Baltimore loses, they've clinched, and Pitt might be playing for the 1 seed. TJ Watt is practicing, so he's going to play next week if they need him. Otherwise, they'll be in. I hear guys saying, "Oh, Pitt will be one and done in the playoffs." No, Pitt won't be. TJ Watt looks like he'll be back. I don't know about the other linebacker, but Aaron Rodgers is starting to play. They'll get DK Metcalf back. Warren's running the ball well. They're just coming in. Anytime you get a new quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, it takes him a while to get acclimated, especially he's never thrown to DK Metcalf before. Well, you've got to work on your timing. I mean, Montana and Rice the first year didn't do shit. The second year, they lit it up. So you got to get used to the timing. The same thing with the offensive and defensive lines. You want to run line stunts. You got to get the timing down with the other guys. You can't just walk out there. And the same thing with the offensive line. They got to pick up the blitzes. Well, they got to know the other guys. You can't just bring in a guy. So Rodgers is starting to connect with DK Metcalf and the other. They showed you they, put up a lot of points on Detroit. They put up 27 on Baltimore. So that's kind of they're just starting to get into the groove. So it's unfortunate to DK Metcalf. He should never have been suspended for 2 games. I don't know what he was doing talking to the fan. The fan wanted an autograph. The fan should be thrown in jail for interjecting into a game because it sets a bad precedent. Oh, the fan can just get the player. If the player's stupid enough to go there, that's the player's fault. But the fan provoking is not the player's fault. And that's that fan should be thrown in jail for that. You got to set a time, but you cannot provoke these players. So, yeah, you can blame DK Metcalf for going over there, but the fan called him over. The fan created it. It's like some hot girl walks up to you. Hey, let's go out. Who are you? I don't even know who you are. And then she steals your money. Well, she should go to jail for provoking, not you for talking to her. I mean, that's just bullshit. So you got to read the whole thing. It's like when somebody yells at one guy and then he punches and then the second guy gets the penalty. Well, wait, he provoked it. You got to penalize the provoker as much as the other. And he never hit him in the head. He missed him. He just kind of like get away from me is what he did. All right. Anyway, Pitt 3, both have 25 defenses. Cleveland's a W. Prime Jr. sucks. Rodgers, Hall of Fame. It's not windy anymore there. So the weather's, we'll take one last look at the weather, but it's not. It was real windy. And here in Detroit, it's pretty mild and not windy. So I think the weather has shifted to a 40, 50 degrees, not this freezing cold we were getting. Arizona, Cincinnati, Cincinnati 753.5. Key to this game is Baker, what's his name? Buda Baker is out. That's the key. That's the whole key to this game. Arizona, Cincinnati's a 753.5. We've got Arizona Z team with a 32 defense, and no Buda Baker against and Brissett against over team Cincinnati with a 25 defense. They're an over team with Burrow, and so here's where you run into stat difficulty. If you look at the whole year, you've got Burrow for 4 or 5 games, and you got Flacco for a few, and the other guy for a few, and it ends up being a mess to look at the stats. So you've got to pull back and go, hey, we got Joe Burrow. He's going to light it up. For him to be playing, he wants to win. He's pissed off. He had to miss some games. So play against Arizona 14-1. Play against them as a road dog 5-1. So Arizona, Brissett, Cincinnati, with the kind of a weak defense, although it's getting better. It used to be a 30s, now a 25. And again, part of it's who they played. Well, they handled Baltimore the first week and then lost in the cold. And Buffalo, they played pretty tough. But I look at it as Joe Burrow's playing a 32 defense without their best player, Buda Baker. He's going to light it up. Him and Chase, 3 touchdowns. That's how I look at it. Arizona might score a little, but they don't really score a lot. Yes, Cincinnati doesn't have a great defense, but I like Cincinnati here. I think this is one of the best plays of the weekend is this one with the Tampa game. Also, are very strong plays. Now, since he's not, but in week 3, are you playing for the playoffs or week 4 or week 5? No, but you are playing. If Joe Burrow is out there, they're playing, right? Because why is Joe Burrow out there? They don't need to win because they want to play football. He's a football player. Him and Chase, they want to get 5 touchdowns tomorrow. So I just think without Buda Baker, Cincinnati's going to just dominate this game at home. It's not cold there. They want to. I don't know if they're home or on the road next week, but it doesn't matter. All right, the Giants at Oakland. The Giants are now a 2.5-point favorite because Norm Crosby is not playing, or Bing Crosby, whatever Crosby you want to call him. 2.5 and 42. Now, why did the total not drop? You've got Crosby. They benched him because he's playing to win, and they want to get the first pick, and they need a quarterback. They need Tagovailoa. Anybody that's stupid enough to take Mendoza over Tagovailoa is gonna really regret it. So Oakland needs a quarterback. They're gonna get that first pick. Oakland's gonna lay down. Now, will the Giants lay down? I don't know. They're not very good. Both teams are Z teams. Both teams need the 1 or 2 pick. 28 defenses dart against Geno Smith, who they both stink. Play against the Giants this year, 13-2 in a teaser. So what do you do? Brock Bowers is out. Crosby's out. You got Gentry. I guess they're going to play him. So is Oakland even going to try, or are they told to lay down? I don't know. They tried last week against Houston, obviously. So we will see. It's hard to go out there and say, okay, guys, lose. You'd be in a lot of trouble if you did that anyway. The league wouldn't like it. You can't fake it, right? Philly, Buffalo, very good game. Buffalo, 1.5, 44. But Philly's in. They won their division. There's no 1 seed for them. Well, they can get to 12-5, but I think Seattle's already at 13. Buffalo 11-4, trying to catch New England to win the division, but New England plays first at 1 o'clock. So if New England wins, this is really a nothing game because Buffalo's not going to catch them, and Philly has really nothing to play for. So it looks good. I think Bosa's out for Buffalo. Philly, as far as I know, is playing. As far as I know, Jalen Carter's coming back. Johnson, the tackle's not going to play. I'm surprised that they're going to play Carter. That would surprise me. Why are you wasting him? But we'll see. Natomod 4. I hope I said that right. Welcome to the class. Glad to see you. Please feel free to ask questions, comments, anything. What do you think about silver prices? Are they going to go down or up? Well, if you've been listening, you know my answer. They're going to go to $1,000 an ounce. This is not, these are not stocks. I'll just talk for a minute and then we'll get back to football and get back to this question. These are not stocks. These are paper prices in a physical world. So they're like analog people in a digital world. Silver just keeps going up and up and up. The demand for physical silver for industrial use is huge. B, there is no inventory. So if we go back to basic economics, and I'm an Austrian economist, if there's demand and the supply is very limited, the price has to go up. The only thing causing the price to go down is if there's no demand. Do you think there's no demand for silver? All the military use and industrial use, and forget about it's the hyperinflation that is in the US where we have to dump dollars to buy gold and silver because our dollars aren't worth anything. So with all that going on, I'm not selling my silver at these cheap prices. Nice silver price is here. COMEX price is here. This is conservatively 1,000, probably more. And this is $79. So give me a reason why it would go down. First of all, you're dealing with paper options, not physical supply demand, making the price 79. Secondly, you're dealing with people buying it on COMEX because it's cheaper, but there is no supply on COMEX. COMEX is out. They don't have any silver. So anytime they short it, people will buy it and say, I want to take physical. Right? They want the silver, not the money. And so therefore, they can't really short it to lower the price. So they're going to lose their ass because China and Russia are sitting there waiting to buy, and India, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, they're all waiting to buy when the price comes down because it's the only place you can get silver this cheap. And it goes right to the mines, pays $100, $125 for silver. They just dig it out of the mine. It's called Dory, and they go and they get it refined in Switzerland, maybe sometimes in China, and that's it. So plus China's not selling, and a lot of countries are not going to sell. They're keeping the silver in the country. So it's an extremely rare, limited commodity that everybody needs. And the price is going to the moon, and you add the inflation between the Western world, UK, France, Germany, Italy, and the US and Canada, with their dollars are being worthless. You tell me what you think is going to happen. I think we can, if we had another week, I think we could get to 100 by New Year's. But right now, you saw it went up $7 yesterday. I came on, it was, I think my title says 72 or 74 or something, and ended 79. Next week, it'll bust through 80. Once we broke through 40, then all the shorts started to run, and now you've got to be out of your mind to short it. So why would you think it would go down? So if you can give me one reason, and I'll probably disagree with you, there is no reason. It's when you get a lot of demand and a very little supply, you get high prices. That's just the way assets work. If it's gold, if it's silver, if it's toilet paper, if it's eggs. Look when there was a shortage of eggs, they went up to $8, $9. Then they found the eggs, and then the prices went back down. Well, silver, you can't find anymore. You have to get it out of the ground, and there is no more in the mines. Natamad, but within short period of time, it is going very high, rocketing, something weird and scary. Nothing weird or scary about it. Just listen to my classes. I've been talking about this for 5 years. This is worthless. And so if this is worthless, what do? I trade it. I do a trade. I get rid of this and buy gold and silver. Only more and more people are catching on. Then you have your industrial users who need it, and they're scared that there's not enough. Let's say you're building an airplane and you need silver for part of your parts. If you don't have the silver, you can't sell the airplane. It's $1 billion airplane. You're not going to sell it because you don't have silver. Like the electric cars, like the military Tomahawk missiles, but that's all bullshit. It's really, this is worthless, and you got to dump this, and you Rumpelstiltskin it, and you trade it in for gold and silver because those have values. You can see we've been buying silver since $16, and now it's at 79, and I will not profit take it because there's no profit to be taken. I don't want to get back into this. This is the key. Nobody's selling their silver. Only an idiot would sell his physical silver now to get back into this, because this has no value. You cannot print it to death and think it has value. Bitcoin has no value. It's backed by dollars. So the only thing with value is gold and silver. It's actually a monopoly now. And that's why we buy it. And we do not buy it to sell, because that would be stupid to get back into dollars. You might sell it if you're in Russia or China to get the BRICS gold back currency, then I would approve, but not to get back into the US dollar or the British pound or the euro. You got to be out of your mind. So it's not scary. It's just the realization the dollar's worthless. That could be your scary part, but as long as you have gold and silver, you're protected. So that's really the key to it. Hey, G, how are you? I forgot what you said yesterday. You only have locks for Sunday, nothing today, right? No, I did not lock Houston, San Diego, or Baltimore, Green Bay. I do have 3 locks on Sunday now. I did have a lock Thanksgiving or Christmas. I did have Denver or Dallas. Dallas is in a lock with one of the teams. Yeah, there's 3 locks tomorrow. There's also a college lock. So if you wanted the locks, you would also get the playoff lock that I have. So that's actually 4 locks. And just play, well, Dallas has already played, so you just put it in with one of the other locks. Or my free play is the Rams -2. And my free play in college is Ohio State, Miami under. But I can give you one today. LSU, Houston under. Neither team has an offense. So will they play? I don't know, but we'll go with that one. Anyway, so I hope I answered your silver question. It's not a stock. You can't think of it as a stock. It's like a Mantle card or Joe Montana's rookie card. Went up to, it's now 110,000. It skyrocketed up based on demand. There's not a lot of PSA 10s. There's a lot of Montana rookie people who want it. So there's high demand. And the price went to 110. It's not coming down. If anything, it's going up. Okay. You got any holiday specials? Well, yeah, I mean, $200 for the rest of the year. If you want all the games through the Super Bowl. So that's been my special for about 2 or 3 weeks now. So instead of paying $100 a week for 7-8 weeks, and all the college playoffs and all, of course, the pros through the Super Bowl. So email me. I can probably help you out a little bit there, but that's the special $200 for everything. It was 100 for the bowl for the playoff for the bowl games. If you just wanted the bowls, 100 through the playoffs, or 200 for everything. Okay. So I hope you're well, G. I hope you had a good Christmas. We got New Year's coming up. I don't even know what to eat anymore. I got ribs from Boneyard. I still have some. I made sloppy joes, and I still have that. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to eat for New Year's. I think I'll go to the casino and play some poker. So Natamod 4. I hope that helps you, but you've got to understand concepts, which is what I teach, is this thesis. And we're buying gold and silver because the dollar is worthless. Because if you keep printing dollars, they become worthless. And we've overprinted. And then the FX is gone. It's mostly BRICS coming out with their new gold-backed currency. So the demand for gold and silver's jumped. And BRICS is no longer using the dollar for transactions, and Saudi Arabia is no longer on the petrodollar, where you had to buy oil with the dollar. They understand the dollar is worthless. All the central banks are buying gold and silver, and they're dumping the dollar. So read what's happening. If you see that, then it's very simple. And so you only can run into gold and silver, and as they take physical on COMEX, it's a Ponzi scheme. Once they start taking physical, what does that tell you, right? They don't want money. Nobody wants money, but it's very, very limited. So the game's up at COMEX, and now China's pricing it in Russia, and they have a bunch, and they want a higher price. So that's where you're at. So it's just a no-brainer. Just go buy gold and silver and just sit on it. Watch gold go to 20,000 and watch silver conservatively go to 2,500, and you can buy it for 79 at a theater near you. And that's why it's jumping from 50 to 60 to 70, 80. It'll be 100 soon. Then it'll go up to 200 to 300. And there's no reason for it to pull back. The only reason they go down is COMEX plays this fucking game of shorting the derivatives. That's the only reason the price goes down, not because of the market, not because of no demand. You go into the grocery store, you go into Kroger's, and there's a 2-liter of Coke, and it sells for $3.50. And people go, fuck off, I'm not going to pay $3.50. So they got to lower the price because demand went down because you made the price too high. Is the price too high on silver? No, because we don't know what this price is. Here's COMEX price. Here's the real price. So when it gets here, if we ever find out what that is, then maybe it's too high. So if you see $2,000 silver, you still can't price fix. You still can't profit take it because you can't get back into dollars. The whole game we're playing is you're getting out of this because it's worthless, and you're getting out of this and Canadian and British pound and Swiss franc, anything paper that's not backed, all the African countries, all the Asian countries, it's all worthless. And so all these people are going to start flying into gold and silver. So the demand's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so there's never a reason to sell because you don't even know what the real price is. And it's not the paper price. Please understand, COMEX is paper bullshit by JP Morgan. It's price fixed. It's not the real demand. And we're getting away from COMEX. Everybody realizes it's a Ponzi scheme. And then people are going, oh, shit, I need it. And they're all buying physical. And the price is not anywhere near reality. The reality I got is 1,000, but that's probably conservative. And it's at 79. So what do you think? Why would it drop? Yes, I agree with you, but Klooply, a couple of weeks ago, silver and gold prices go down. No, they didn't. No, this is just the paper. It's the paper COMEX short game, and that's gone. Why do you think it went from 70 to 79 this week? You're not going to see prices drop because, again, that's paper. and it went down because they started fucking around with the whatchamacallit, um, the margin amount. So they raised margin, so people had to sell their options, which again, that's paper, that's not physical. I wouldn't worry about it. Just listen to what I just said, and there's no reason. Nobody is physically selling their gold and silver. In fact, there's a huge shortage, and everybody needs it, the demand, because the paper's worthless. So it might drop on Comex for $1 or $2, but look how quickly it went up, right? So it's understanding its options and shorting the options, which means they want the price to go down. And I take you to Eddie Murphy and Trading Places, where they started, and then the demand dropped because the orange juice was fine and there was no problems, and then the price went down. So the demand went down once there was no supply problems. Is there a supply problem in silver? Hell yes. There's no way the price is going down. And if it does, it's going down for 5 minutes. But I'll tell you what's gone down is this. So read the whole story. This has no value. This is worthless. So if you understand this is worthless, you have to get out of it. Where are you going to go? What you going to do, Hulkster? So you have nothing. That's the game. The real dollar is worthless. So that's really your bigger concern. It's not worth anything. I got to get out of it, right? I got to get off the Titanic. It's sinking. I got to get into the lifeboat. And once you're in the lifeboat, you're in the lifeboat, and just sit and relax. Enjoy the ocean front and make your 25% on the beach. Only we're going to make 250,000% on our beach. So don't worry about that. You're worried about things you don't know and things you don't understand. It's manipulated by JP Morgan. And I'm saying just fuck them. There's nothing to worry about. All right. So Philly Buffalo, we really don't know what's going on. Josh Allen's going to play. Jalen Carter's going to play. Game's meaningless, I think. Now, if New England were to lose to the Jets, which will never happen, then Buffalo could win and tie for the division. But that's not going to happen. So Buffalo, mathematically, let's see, New England, 12-3, and Buffalo is 11-4. So Buffalo's a game behind. So Buffalo will try. And Philly, I think, just wants to play because they're Philly. And I think they've been playing bad, and they're starting to play. So I think it's a big game for them. Just mathematically in the standings, it doesn't mean anything. All right, the Bears and the Niners. Both are 11-4. Both are kind of going for the 1 seed. The Bears trying to win the division. The Niners 352.5. They're both 8 teams with 18 defenses, so they're pretty good. They've both been scoring a lot. As their 8 teams mean they both score around 27, 28, 30 points. Caleb against Purdy. Purdy's been looking sharp. Caleb doesn't do anything. He just gets out of the way. He's not a great thrower, although he made a good throw to win the game against Green Bay. I give him credit for that. It's few and far between. The Bears are 13-2 in a teaser this year, and play against is a road dog 6-1, so they're not great on the road. They did have trouble with Baltimore, who beat them pretty good. The Lions beat them pretty good. Their defense is getting a little better. So this is a good playoff game. I just think it'll be a good game. I like the way Purdy's played. So this should be an interesting game, I think. Again, both teams need it. And the Rams at Atlanta, let's give you a score. This is the free play. Let's go 34-17 Rams. They're the 8 team with a 26 defense, but that's skewed because they played a high-scoring game with the Lions and Seattle, but that's not norm. Atlanta doesn't have that type of offense. They're an E team with the 25. Kirk Cousins, we know he stunks. Stafford against Cousins. The Rams are 13-2 in the teaser. 7-1 is on the road. I think it's road dog, but it's road. Look for the Rams in a must-win game with Stafford. I don't know if Devontae Adams is back or not, but it doesn't matter. They got Tutu Atwell with Pukanuka. All these guys from UCLA. So definitely like the Rams here, minus the 2. I would get them in before it goes to 9, which might happen Monday. But at this point, we know Seattle should beat Carolina. The Niners and Chicago, and then the Niners play Seattle next week. So the Rams have all the incentive no matter what. So look for them. Teams in a teaser this week. So these are teams overall in a teaser, over 85%. The Bears, the Rams, Philly, Jacksonville, New England, Houston, Denver, and Tampa. Denver's already won for us. Thank you very much, Bo Nix. The play against teams, Philadelphia, which play close games. The JETSs, Arizona, the Giants, Tennessee, Cincinnati, and Atlanta. So let's see. So nobody played. So Thanksgiving was very strange games. I think that was just short work weeks. You can't keep playing these Sunday, Thursday games. It kills the players. That's what we have in the teaser. Let's look at the weather, which I just looked at before. The weather. Houston, San Diego's in a dome, doesn't matter. Baltimore, Green Bay, 37 with a slight chance of drizzle. And we go into it. 32, 7-mile-an-hour winds, 32.8, 32.8. So it's going to be like 32 degrees in Green Bay. They're getting a very warm, very light chance of rain and very low wind. So weather will not play a part. Cincinnati, Arizona, 62, 12-mile-an-hour winds here. So no cold weather for Joe Burrow. Seattle, Carolina, 50 degrees, 3-mile-an-hour winds. Pitt and Cleveland, 49 degrees in Cleveland, if you can believe that. And the wind's about 10 miles an hour. Shouldn't have any problem. It will rain in the game. New Orleans, Tennessee, 67 in Tennessee. Chance of rain, 14 mile an hour. It's funny, there's always chance of rain in all these. Except for Jacksonville, Indiana's in the dome. And Tampa Bay, Miami's in Miami, 79 and clear and no wind. New England at the Jets, 33 with a slight chance of rain and 3 mile. So it's very good weather there. Oakland is in a dome. Philly, Buffalo, 40 degrees, rain and 7 miles an hour. So it's definitely raining there, which is better than the snow. Should be turnovers. Does rain really bother them? Well, they get the gloves, and I don't think, like Josh Allen, I don't think it's going to bother him. Hurts, I don't think it's going to bother them. Maybe you get a few more fumbles. You got Cook and Barkley. I think it helps them because if the turf's little slick, they can make a cut and go for touchdowns. So I don't know. It's an under. I'd say wind is our biggest enemy, and there's no wind here. Chicago at the Niners, 52 and 6-mile-an-hour winds and patchy frost. So no rain. And then the Rams at Atlanta's in a dome. And what I like is it's Monday night. So where LA went to Carolina on a Sunday and had to play it at 1 o'clock, which was 10 in the morning, this game isn't until Monday night. So the weather, the time change won't be an issue here. It's another reason I really like the Rams. Plus, they're the better team, and Stafford's playing lights out. All right, let's go to our college. So I got 3 locks in that. Landing Kyle Whittingham would be best case. So the Michigan has not landed Kyle Whittingham yet. I'm surprised he retired from Utah. We will see. Pitt, East Carolina's already started, so let's not talk about them. Hauser, I don't think, was playing. He actually was a quarterback at Michigan State, which I didn't realize. And he was in total recall. Yeah, East Carolina, Ditta, Ditta. That's why the line jumped. And that's the problem in these bowl games. You got to be careful with that. All right, Penn State, Clemson. I have played this game. Clemson is 347.5. UConn and the Army. Army 8.5, 42.5. I think the coach is gone. I'm not sure if the quarterback's. And again, the game's in Fenway Park. So I don't know if Fagnano is the quarterback. He's really good. The line did drop or did go up from Army. Was initially, I think, like 6, and now it's 8.5. Again, the Penn State Clemson game's in New York. It's the Babe Ruth game in the Bronx. UConn Army's in Boston. They're getting a good week for it. In Florida, Georgia Tech, BYU. BYU 3.5, 56.5. I'm pretty sure everybody's playing. I didn't see. Let's take one more look. Is Haynes King playing today, Georgia? Well, let's see. I'm assuming he is, but if he doesn't, that's good news. So it looks like he will be playing. Yes, Haynes King is set to play. That's my boy. But I think BYU wants to prove something. They're pissed off they're not in the playoff, and I think they're gold today, Jerry. Miami of Ohio, Fresno State 5.5, 40.5. What do I got here? I got Miami of Ohio. They're both under teams with 20 defenses. I'll go through the games in a minute. North Texas, San Diego State. North Texas 752.5. Wow, this was 3. Who's not playing here? San Diego State quarterback, I guess. I didn't know they had one. Well, Mestamaker, I believe, is playing. Oh, yeah, Denegal, I think he's injured, so he's not playing. North Texas 7, but still it's 52.5. So that's all that changed. Virginia, Missouri 4, 44.5. And LSU, Houston, Bobby will be there. Houston 1.5, 42.5. Well, this really went down from 3. All right, let's go through the games. So we've got Penn State, a B team, 21 defense. Clemson, a big team, 21 defense. So they're both pretty good. Penn State's been playing well the last few games, mostly running the ball down everybody's throat. Clemson's disappointing. I don't like Clay Klubnik. I don't think he's all that. I think Penn State comes to play. I don't know if Clemson comes to play or not. UConn Army, UConn a B team with the 25 defense, Army and under with the 22. Georgia Tech a B team, 25. BYU an A team with the 19. Should be in the playoffs, way ahead of James Madison. That was a joke. Wouldn't you rather see BYU against Oregon instead of James Madison? Pretty pathetic. What kind of playoffs are these? You can't differentiate between the Sun Belt and a Big 12 team who lost to the best team in college, Texas Tech. So BYU is what, 3.5, 56. They're an A team with a 19 defense. Miami of Ohio, Fresno State, both under teams with 20 defenses. This game's in Arizona. North Texas, San Diego State. North Texas, an A team with the 25 defense. San Diego State, an under team with a 12 defense, and you don't fuck with 12 defenses. As much as I love North Texas, and the quarterback's out for San Diego State, I think that the defense is going to dominate today. Virginia, Missouri. Our Chandler Morris is playing. Virginia's an A team with a 20 defense. Missouri with the B with the 19, and Prebula is transferred, so he's not playing. I love these quarterbacks who quit. I hate quitters. It's your bowl game. I mean, well, it's an exhibition. It's not an exhibition. So basically, the whole season's an exhibition. If you want to get to that, so the Oklahoma game was an exhibition because you couldn't win your title. What a bunch of bullshit. So both teams. So Virginia an 18 with a 20 defense, Missouri a B with a 19. Probably, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a Florida game, and we do have Morris, our quarterback. So I think Virginia plays good here. And then our last game, Bobby against Houston, LSU, under team with an 18. Can't seem to score. Good defense, and Houston a B with the 21. And I think back at the Alabama LSU game, and Alabama kept struggling and couldn't move on LSU. Houston, strong defensive team, 21 defense. This should be a defensive struggle. And that's it. And then next game is Monday. So that's your Saturday games. I played 4 of these games. I did hit last night UTSA over 60 down to 54. And they scored an 80-point game. I was excited. It was 14-0, 5 minutes into the game. I go, finally, I don't have a 3-0 halftime game. I love those. 2 explosive teams, 3-0 at the half. I got that with the Lions last week, not this past game, but the week before when they played. Who did they play? The Rams, and it was like a low-scoring game. And all of a sudden, they started turning it on. Roadkill, nice to meet you. Welcome to our class. I traded 18 ounces of silver for a quarter ounce of gold yesterday. It was a good decision or bad. Well, as long as you traded it for gold or silver, you can't lose in. 18 at $80, let's say $80 an ounce times 18. Oh, you're really making me work here. 18 times 20 is 1,600. I think you overpaid a little bit. I don't know. What's a quarter ounce of gold? Is that, I think it's just divided by, so 4,500 is like 1,200. I think you overpaid a little. You might have traded it when it was 72, which maybe makes it a little fairer. Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm not one like people say I should sell my gold to buy silver or something like that. No. Once you have gold, you hold it and you just watch the price go up. So I think you're okay in either case, as long as you didn't trade it for dollars. I think that's fine. I'm in Rhode Island going to shovel about 7 inches of snow right now. Don't hurt your back and don't be careful with your heart. Drink lots of water. All I can say is don't hurt yourself, please. Greg and John, ATK, you like Connecticut today. Is their quarterback playing? I'll leave it at that. I know the Mora, I thought, moved on already. I mean, the Army, it's hard to defend the Army in a bowl game because they're going to run that bullshit that you can't defend. If Fagnano's playing, maybe I like them in a teaser getting 14.5. If he's not, I don't like him. Prophet, good morning. Took your advice and started playing more teasers, and I'm liking the results so far. Well, if all the games are fixed as we think they are, they're only fixed at the line level. So like you can't win by 8, but you can win by 2. So what the teaser does is it helps you um, with the 6 points. So if we look at, take the Ram game. The Rams are 8 over Atlanta. That's a tough bet, right? They're going by 8. That's a lot. They could easily win by 7. And they can win by 6. But we think the Rams will win. And by cutting it down to 2, our odds on winning have gone up probably 1,000%. Even if it's close, they'll win by a field goal, right? Look at the Denver game. We won at minus 6.5 because they won by 7 because they only care about winning. The Dallas game, we won. That was my lock, Dallas -1, and they won by 7. It's much easier to win when you can adjust these lines to 6-0, 7-1, 8-2. The probability has gone up if you understand the teams, and that's why I go into the teams first, and I break that down, and then I go, like Cincinnati tomorrow, and I broke it down, and I said, well, they're playing Arizona, and Arizona's got a 32 defense, which means they have no defense. Buda Baker's out, and by the way, I got Joe Burrow and Chase. Now, in a teaser, I'm laying 1 point. They're at home against the shit Arizona team with a 32 defense. I got Burrow and Chase. Now, they certainly probably win by 20. However, my bet is not 7 and worry. It's 1 and just win the game. And so it makes betting it easier. I got to do a whole class on teasers. I mean, basically, when you see me, I'm playing a team in 2 teasers, right? Like I played the Dallas lock in 2 teasers. I played Denver. Denver, I played in 1. I didn't like the line, but like last week, I had Oregon in 2 teasers over James Madison. And the pros. Normally I would have had Dallas in 2 teasers, but I wanted, because it was Thursday, I wasn't really ready to go. I just played them in a lock, 1 big teaser. But normally when I find that lock, I play them like the Rams. They're in 2 teasers, not a question. Cincinnati's, I think, in 2 teasers. I don't know. They might be in 1. But when I find that game, I play them in 2 teasers. Because if I play 4 teams in 2 teasers, I'm probably going to go 3-1, which means I break even and lose juice. Well, that defeats it. So I don't want to do that. So if I can play 3 teams in 2 teasers, my odds on winning are good as long as the team I have in 2 teasers wins, which I'm studying and going, yeah, that's a real good play, which is why I get into defense and why I get into Joe Burrow, and they need the game and they don't. All that stuff factors in. And then that allows you to play 4 or 5 team teasers. I got 3 locks going tomorrow. That's 6 teams. I can play a 6-team teaser. And, I don't have to bet a lot to win a lot in a 6-team teaser. And, I don't bet a lot because usually I'm going to go 5-1, but there's weeks, as I go 6-0 and I run the table. I missed a 10-team teaser by a half a point a few weeks ago. I hit all 9. The 10th one was that Rams-Seattle game, and I had it over, I think 40.5, and they played a 40. And all I needed, if the guy kicks the field goal, I win, and we win a 10-team teaser. So, I mean, understanding how to use the 6 points is what I do best, and understanding the teams, which is critical. It's just like understanding gold and silver. You got to understand it. Our new friend Admon says, well, what if it goes down? Where's it going from here? It's only going up because of demand. Now I know we get a little bit screwed in football when the line goes from 7 to 11, and we go, "Oh, I'm going to bet." You can't. That's different. But in gold and silver, like a mantle card, is people going to stop demanding a mantle card? No, keep going with it. So that's what you got to realize. So yeah, teasers are a great way to play. I'll do a teaser video. I get other questions on that. They don't really understand. People don't understand. I play a lot of games because I know I'm going to win a lot. Because I go through it and I go, yeah, this is this is a good game and that's a good game. It's here, Cincinnati. I'm not looking for one or two. I'm playing 8 or 9 games and I'm going to win 75% of them. And then I bet them in the best ones in 2 teasers. And that's how I win all the time. And then I figure, as we get going now, we see, yeah, Arizona sucks. Buda Baker's out. Here's Joe Burrow. He's back. It's not hard to figure. And that's what I do. So that's really what we're looking at. And yeah, I always make money because like now Jacksonville is good and the Bears. Well, I would never bet them last year, but this year I am. And then you get off of like the Lions. I mean, you get off of them because they basically stink because of the injuries to their offensive line and their whole defense, and the fact their coach sucks. I made a comment that they should fire Dan Campbell. So I know people are listening because I hear it on the radio. Well, yeah, we should fire Dan Campbell. And the announcer's like, oh, no, that'll never happen. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it will. It should. And he's not very good. But they can't separate. See, you asked me who's my favorite team. I don't have one because I got to analyze it. And I got to see that Dan Campbell's no good. But most people can't say, well, he gets the team ready. Yeah, but he doesn't win any games. He gets into a big game, he loses. He doesn't know how to coach. He goes for 4th downs. He goes for 2-point conversions. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's being aggressive, but this is not. It's like playing chess. You can't like try to take the queen every move, right? You got to set it up. And so he doesn't get that, and that's why he's a bad coach. He's a good motivator, but all these injuries, that's his fault. You got to play hard for me. So they all play hard, and they all get hurt. They don't care. It's a physical game. They don't mind getting hurt. They get paid. That's all that matters because they know they can't play if they don't play hard. So they play hard for them, but that's why the whole team's injured. And then you can't win with an injured team. So anyway, he should be fired, but that's only coming from a professional, not these amateurs who, look how good he is. All right, Prophet. I've been playing mostly 13.4 teamers, and let me tell you, getting an extra 2 touchdowns in every game is like stealing. Oh yeah, your payout's not good. See, I'm at the point where I can win a lot with a 2-team 6-point teaser. Doing 13-point teasers, yeah. I mean that's my number one. If I was doing that, my number one play would be New England. Take them down, Denver down, Cincinnati in 6, the Rams in 5. I mean, it's gold all over the place. So, yeah, you don't get much of it. I would do that, and I'd play a few 6-point teasers. But if you figure out the teams is the key, and the defenses, and you want to go against bad defenses, and you got to be careful against strong defenses, like the Lions and Minnie. Minnie still has a great defense, even though the quarterback's a high school player. So that's a game you got to be careful of. Anyway, so that's college. Let's look at the playoffs. I can't believe Yahoo doesn't have they only have this week, so I got to go to scores and odds. End of the first period, Pitt and East Carolina scoreless. So my problem is I'm wondering how these teams are even, do they care? That's the problem with the bowl games now. They're printing them into exhibition games, and then the coach is pulling the starters to give the other guys time. That's what hurt me in the Memphis game. It's 31-7.5, and then they start pulling their guys to get the other guys experience. Well, wait a minute. I'm betting the over in the game, and you're pulling the guys. Are you out of your mind? But in the playoff, we don't have to worry about that. All right, we got Ohio State 9.5, 42.5. We got Oregon 2.5, 52.5. Can anybody please explain why Oregon's favored in this game? Indiana 6.5, 48.5 over Alabama, and Georgia 6.5, 55.5. Not only should Oregon not be favored, the total of 52.5. Are you kidding? Have you seen Texas Tech's 5 all first round draft picks on defense, and you got a 52 here? Dante Moore is not gonna. He's not gonna get it done. So anyway, that's your playoff. So we talked the pros again. We've got Houston, San Diego. It's like a 5:00 game. Why these games aren't on normal TV, I have no idea. Whoever is running these stations have their heads so far up their asses, they don't know what they're doing. Do you have a market for me to watch Houston, San Diego on, what is it, NFL Network or Amazon Prime? What's the market for that? Is there a market for that? Do we want to pay for pro football? Is there a market for us to pay for pro football today? Here you got a holiday, you got everybody home, and you're not going to show it on TV. Are you fucking kidding me? So I think these are on, they're either on Amazon Prime or the NFL Network. This is on the NFL Network, Houston, San Diego, and Peacock, Baltimore, Green Bay. Have these guys lost their minds? I think they have. What are you doing? What are you where am I going? What is the point of that? Are we going to run and buy Peacock because of this Baltimore Green Bay game? We have to watch it, and we're going to get Peacock to. We're going to pay to watch the game. Are they out of their minds? Why would I pay to watch it? What do I care? I'll turn it on YouTube a half hour after the game's over and watch 20 minutes of highlights. I'll see what's going on Yahoo, watching the score. These people are out of their minds. I'm not sure why anybody would sign up for Peacock in the first place. What's Peacock? NBC? Show it on NBC then. They're killing themselves today with Peacock. Now, everybody would watch on NBC and they could get more advertising and everything. But who's signing up for Peacock? Oh, I'm going to sign up today for Peacock so I can watch this Green Bay game. Are they insane? You give away the product, you get money on the advertising. That's how it works on Sundays with Fox and CBS and everything. You've got to be out of your mind to not put it on regular TV. I want as much exposure as possible. I don't say, oh, this is just for subscribers. I say anybody can come and watch. Because I can answer gold and silver questions like we got, right? Well, why would I charge? Is there a market to charge people to come to class? In college, maybe, but not here. I mean, maybe, but that's not the point of the economics. It's not to charge; it's to teach. Maybe I don't know, one of these Substacks. You can get subscribers and charge for that. I don't know. But anyway, that's the problem. It's if I'm running a business, it's like charging people going to your grocery store. I think Aldi does that. They charge you like a quarter for the cart. I won't go there. It's like, fuck you. I'm not. I can go to Kroger's. I don't need a chart. I don't need that. So I think that's a big part of it is getting understanding what the market is. Peacock, do you think there's people that want to buy your program today to watch this game? Now there's demand. There's a market to watch the game. Is there a market to pay for the game? Just like Vegas. You want to start making money by charging for parking, resort fees, higher drink, and higher food prices. Is there a market for it? No. Nobody wants to pay for parking. What insane person thought of that? Oh, we'll charge resort fees. Where is this coming from? Based on what? There's no market for it. We can charge. Yeah, and now it's empty. There's nobody there. So I hammer the guy, the MGM CEOs on LinkedIn, Bullwinkle or whatever, and I just nail that guy. I go, well, when are you resigning? Because you're a fucking idiot. You're bankrupting the city. He never responds to me. He responds to some other chuckleheads, but he won't talk to me because he knows I'm right. You've got to have a market, right? I can't, I buy avocados. Okay, you're selling them, I'll buy them. That's the market. But there's no market for NFL Network. There's no market for Peacock or any of this. Even Thursday Night Football, I don't think there's a market for. Christmas, I don't think there was a market for that. Our friend Alex came on, and I'm going to shoot him right now saying, oh, I took all the home dogs. So you bet on third string quarterbacks. Really? Well, okay. How much are you losing? Then he likes bragging about, oh, I won the third string quarterbacks. I took a guy from New Hampshire, and I took Johnson, and I took Uglia Buglia on Kansas City. Oh, yeah. You're betting on third string quarterbacks. You must lose a lot of money, Alex. Profit. Fortunately, my cable company picks up the Peacock and Amazon games, but I'd never pay extra for them. Well, that's exactly. But what's happening is because cable's getting so expensive at $100, $150 to watch it, I went to Tubi. I went to the Roku for $30. You get Roku, and now you can just get the Roku TV, and it's whatever your cable. So my internet. So it's whatever my internet carrier. That's Spectre, and Spectre doesn't carry ESPN, and it doesn't carry those two networks. So I don't get it, but I wouldn't pay for them. So I think that's what they're trying to do is get people who have cable, but the cable market's shrinking. But I'm not paying. I pay for Netflix, but I'm going to end that pretty soon because I don't like. There's nothing on. Oh, Back to the Future's on it again for the 100th time, or some of these other movies. It should be like a Blockbuster. There should be a big inventory, and I want to watch The Dirty Dozen. Pull it out, watch it, put it back in. Oh, I'm going to watch, whatever movies should be everything should be available. What pisses me off is if I go to Europe, I go meet Jenna or Daria, and I got my laptop and I go into Netflix. I'm now getting German Netflix or Europe Netflix, and they got all these good movies. And you're like, well, so they're there, but they're just feeding them to Europe instead of, why aren't I getting these in the US? Why are you differentiating? So I don't like Netflix at all. I thought it was really terrible coverage of the Thursday games. Shut the fuck up. The Thursday games, I thought was terrible coverage. They're interviewing Barry Sanders for 5 minutes in the middle of the second quarter. you're seeing the play, but nobody cares. No, I don't want to hear Barry Sanders in the middle of the game. I want to watch the game. And then they did somebody else, Chris Carter, I think, in the second half. And then they're interviewing the coach while the play's going on. I thought it was a terrible broadcast. The announcers were terrible. Although Drew Brees was one of the announcers, I didn't even know it was Drew Brees. So he should be like an offensive coordinator or quarterback coach. I don't know why he's wasting time there. But people don't have money or don't want. I do not want to spend my money on Paramount. I don't want to spend my money on the cable. That's $125 a month, right? I got nothing, right? I got Roku, and Tubi and Pluto are free, and the only expense I got is about $15 in Netflix. That's it. I'm not getting all these premiums to watch movies that are on. It's ridiculous. I don't need that. So, Prophet, I hate those in-game interviews. Aren't they terrible? Like, who wants that? I don't want to watch the coach say, yeah, we got to play harder and tackle better, and I got to coach better. I got my head so far up my ass, I can't watch the game. Well, of course, do them at halftime or do them after the game. And does anybody really care? Do we really care what the coach has to say? No. Do your fucking press conference. What are you going to tell us anyway? It's not like you're going to. I saw that in the baseball. I think this is the first year I watched the World Series in like 10 years. And they're out talking to the pitcher or the coach in the middle of the inning. I tell them to fuck off. I'm managing here. I got to watch the game. I got to manage. Plus, nobody gives a shit because I'm just going to say, well, they need to tackle harder and we need some turnovers and we need to catch the ball and run and hit and tackle. Well, that's not any information that we want. Who gives a shit? So I agree with that. They shouldn't even do them, but to do them at halftime even makes, who cares? I'm usually watching, I flipped to Las Vegas, that James Caan show at halftime. What's nice about that show is you get to see Vegas, right? You get to see the strip and everybody there gambling. Now they would do it. There'd be nobody there. It'd be empty. All right. Let's go back to gold and silver. So the first thing I came upon today, I just started watching it. Zelensky's government collapses. Now it hasn't collapsed yet. I hate these titles. So I'm going, the war's ended. And well, it hasn't really ended yet. Well, then what the fuck are you saying? Zelensky's government collapses. It's collapsing, but it hasn't collapsed yet, which is what I'm looking for. Then you got this idiot. Don't watch this guy. He's AI. It's over. Banks tap Fed 17 billion. Well, that's not a lot. Shorts imploding. Well, we know that. So that's the answer to silver. Please do not watch this guy. He's AI. He doesn't know what he's saying. It's just AI is just taking data. It'd be like saying, oh, Kansas City won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, so they're going to win it again. I mean, it's just there's no creative analytical mind behind AI. It's just looking at data and spitting it out. Well, in 1933, they took gold. They confiscated your gold. What's that got to do with today? They're not going to do it. They're going to go after Bitcoin and stocks. They're not going to go after gold. They don't think anybody in the U.S. has gold. So why would they go after it? And there was a gold standard in 1933. There's no gold standard now. And then there's bricks now. That wasn't in 1933. So it's just AI is not good. Just understand that. So try to avoid this moron. See, then I read this one. Odessa falls. Ukraine army and state are collapsing. Has it fallen? It says it, but I don't think it's official. So I don't mind that colonel. He's okay. This guy, stay away from him. He's a Keynesian from Greece. The petrodollar just died. The petrodollar died like 2 years ago. They started taking one, like, in other words, the petrodollar was between Saudi Arabia and the US, and everybody had to buy oil in US dollars. Well, for at least a year now, China's been paying for for oil with the yuan. So I don't know what he's talking about. We'll have to watch this interview. This is the idiot that he's saying, I didn't use any racial slurs. How do you know? Just because you say it? Obviously, you provoked him. So, this is 234. Let's watch this. I haven't seen it.
This showerhead changed my life. That fan, whose name is Ryan Kennedy, says his reputation and his safety are now under attack. 7 News Detroit reporter Demetrius Sanders has more on him pushing back on accusations of racism.
Lions fan Ryan Kennedy says he has been the subject of threats, and even his business has taken a hit following an incident with Pittsburgh Steeler DK Metcalf, and now he wants to clear up what he says are false allegations about what went down. During a matchup with the Lions on December 21st, Steelers receiver DK Metcalf went after a fan from the sidelines. The fan in that video, 15-year season ticket holder Ryan Kennedy.
A professional athlete approached the stands, reached into the stands, grabbed the spectator by his shirt, pulled him downwards, and struck him.
With attorneys by his side, Friday, Kennedy recalled the incident, pushing back on claims of racism.
I guess I want to be crystal clear about one thing. I didn't use any racial slurs. No hate
Prove
speech.
it.
Actually, never. 15 years season ticket holder for the Lions. I've never done that.
Those comments come after former NFL player Chad Ochocinco Johnson accused Kennedy of using derogatory words during the interaction.
Being falsely branded as a racist is one of the most damaging accusations that a private citizen can endure.
Attorney Sean Head alleges the altercation began after Kennedy called Metcalf by his full first name and asked for an autograph.
Ford Field Security investigated the incident and allowed Mr. Kennedy to return to the seats after it was determined that no code of conduct violation occurred.
During the press conference, attorneys acknowledged a complaint that was brought against Kennedy when Metcalf was with the Seattle Seahawks, but no violations were found. When asked about a video that appears to show Kennedy fist pumping after the most recent altercation, this was the response.
It's not unusual for a spectator to cheer, jeer, or try to get the attention.
Okay, so clearly he provoked DK Metcalf. Clearly, we're not stupid. We're not 5 years old. He clearly provoked him, right? DK Metcalf isn't just going to the stands and picking the guy. The guy's taunting him, but he's not telling that part of the story. This is all bullshit. This is all hearsay. I've never said a racist comment. Well, okay, that's your opinion. That's not fact. You can't prove that, so it's a pointless point. So DK Metcalf had nothing better to do during the game than go over to this guy who had a Steelers shirt and asked for an autograph. And then when he comes over, he starts yelling and swearing and calling him names and misusing that. And then, to say I've been there 15 years and I've heard in the radio that he's provoked a lot of players. And when DK Metcalf was on Seattle, he provoked him. and he calls him by his first name. So he's digging in, provoking. This guy should go to jail. It's like I push you and then you react, and hey, look, he pushed me. And, it's such bullshit because I pushed him first. So he's asking for the autograph, or he's doing things as the provoking. It's sort of like in the play when one guy pushes and the other guy hits back, and then they get the guy who hit. They always get the second guy. Well, that's what they did here. They got the second guy. DK Metcalf didn't do anything. Oh, he just happened to go over to him for no reason. He just chooses guys with blue hair in the stands to go over and talk to in the middle of a game. Okay, yeah, we'll believe that. I was hoping that this guy said. So all he's trying to say is, look, I'm not a racist. Don't stay away from my business. And I would never work with this guy, or I don't know what he does, but I would never do his business. The guy looks like an idiot anyway, wearing a hat, wearing the blue thing. This guy's not normal. He doesn't have all his ducks in a row. So this guy's guilty as hell. We're not idiots. We're stoics. We understand that. Remember that NBA player that ran into the stands and beat the crap out of? Yeah, that was at Detroit. Oh, it's probably the same guy. Players should never interact with fans. They open themselves up to lawsuits. Well, but you got to understand the fan also cannot. There's a line, like you can swear at a guy or be racial to a guy who's playing. The guy should get thrown out. The fan does not. You bought a ticket, does not give you license to provoke people. Obviously, this guy knew what to say. Oh, I need an autograph. And he went over. That's how he got him over. Why isn't that being explained? And then when he got over, there wasn't an autograph. And that's why he pushed him away. Like, stop wasting my time. Now, he needs to have problems provoking. And if you're going to allow provoking, then if I push back at the fan, that's fine. You provoked, he pushed you back. Maybe the fan shouldn't provoke. That's the problem, right? So I blame the fan 100%. I blame, now DK should never have gone over, but he's probably trying to be nice and give the guy an autograph. Or he's telling the guy to shut up because he bothered him when he was with Seattle, who played in Detroit the last 2 years. So maybe he knew the guy and was telling him to shut up, and that's why he didn't hit him. He just kind of pushed it. But I blame the security at Detroit. Didn't you know what was going on? Didn't you see the guy? And I would take his seats away and say, you're going to sit in row 50 from now on. And if we see you walk down, we're going to kick you out. So I blame Detroit for that. I blame security for that. The guy apparently does this all the time. So if he does it all the time, why aren't you doing it? Why are you letting him sit in row 2? Put him in the second deck where he can't get to the players. So I don't know that I blame the players much if I'm provoked. I think we all have our buttons that if somebody says something, your mother this or your wife this, we're going to react to it. So, yeah, that's just normal. So sometimes you can't just stop it. So I don't think, okay, let's go to golf, right? And the guy's walking through, and then Rory's signing autographs. And they're like, oh, look how nice he is. He's signing autographs. Or Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson. They're signing autographs because the crowd is right on top of the golfers. The golfers have to walk through the crowd to get to the next tee, right? And people, give me your autograph, give you your autograph. Well, wait a minute. So you're saying they shouldn't react, but if they don't give autographs, people will get pissed. So it's the same thing in golf and in any sport. Basketball is really hard because the fans are right on the court. football, they're not on the field. But see, if he's going to give an autograph, and we haven't heard DK's side of it, oh, he didn't use the racial slur. Well, how do you know? We need witnesses who were there who heard the guy. I'm sure he does use racial. That's how he gets the guy. Why do you think he reacted? If I'm just walking, now the difference is I'm stoic. I'm not going to react to anybody. I'm just going to walk and say fuck off to everybody. But if you're, why did DK go over, and then why did he react like? So I'll give you an example. I went to a Tiger game with my kids when they were young, and I had a Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas was the White Sox, and Frank Thomas was there, and he comes out of the dugout to sign autographs. So if we're listening to Prophet, he shouldn't do that. Well, no, it was nice. So I had brought some nothing Frank Thomas scorecards worth $1, not his Leaf rookie or anything. And so I had 2 of them, and I walked out, so people are in line, and I give him the card, and he looks at me, takes it, signs it, Frank Thomas. I said, thank you, Frank. That was very nice of you. I appreciate it. Then I had another one, and he did the same thing. And again, I thanked him a few minutes later. I let other people go in. So if you're courteous to the guy, he's not pushing me or shoving me or swinging a bat at me. I was respectful to him, and he appreciated that, and I appreciated the autograph. There was no charge. I'm at the game. He's doing a nice thing. DK Metcalf was doing a nice thing to go sign this guy's autograph, but the guy provoked him. Now, if I would have provoked Frank Thomas and said, oh, you're this and you're that, and come up with names, and yeah, he probably would have thrown a punch at me too, and he had every right to. So it's me that provoked him. Well, I didn't do it, but I'm saying that's what happened here. The guy provoked DK Metcalf, who's probably doing a nice thing, signing an autograph, and then he turns it into a racial thing, and he turns it into whatever he said to provoke. He's the provoker, so he's provoking DK Metcalf. These attorneys are just scumbags, and the guy with the hat on backwards, yeah, he looks like a good, honest guy. Yeah, whatever he said, I don't believe. This is a bad person, this guy. And if I ever met him, I would tell him to go shove it up his ass, because we don't have time and energy to argue with people like you, right? People come in here and they start giving me shit, and I block them. I don't really argue with them. I just block them, and I don't have time for this crap. If you can't add to the environment, then get the fuck out. So anyway, I totally blame the fan. It's totally his fault for provoking. There's nothing wrong with the interaction. If people, because of what you're doing, people will want your autograph. That's the nature of sports. So if you're saying no more autographs, or only at a card show, oh, there's Mickey Mantle, there's Pete Rose, I got to pay $50 to get their autograph. Okay, I can provoke them then too. Well, Pete, you sucked. You bet on the Red. You bet on baseball. You suck. And he's gonna punch me in the face. And then everybody says, well, you hit the fan. You shouldn't interact with the fans. He's giving autographs. That's fine. That's nice. So that's where we differ. All right. Here's Alligator. Why $100 silver is no longer a fantasy. Really, Alligator? Showing how stupid he is. I'm really turned off by Alligator. He still doesn't know what inflation is, and still think it's the dollar going down, not gold going up. I can't listen to him. Let's see. So here's BYD, just next Evergrande. They make electric cars, but they're also phony like Evergrande, which was selling homes and not building them, and they eventually collapsed. And what they're saying is BYD's next. This is the electronic car builder they're bankrupt also. So these Chinese, you gotta be careful with them. They're corrupt as shit. So be careful. Government bans low prices. Stato, I like Stasso. Odesso Falls. Okay. Europe just quit going electric. I believe that's what this is. And these three morons are ruining Europe. I want to go to Europe, but I'm trying to be careful because I don't know what the hell's there. You got protests and riots going on in England and France and Germany. I'm not going to vacation there, so I don't know where I can vacation. And I don't want to be stuck there. Yeah, like we watched this yesterday. Egon, 5,000 years and zero failure. He misses the point. It's because you can't inflate it. You can't print it. He thinks because it comes out of the ground and he gets you can't print it, but he doesn't really get the reason that it's not defaulted is because you can't print it. That's the reason. So gold is, let's say there was 100 bottles of the 12-year-old Canadian Club, right? Well, I can't make any more because it's 12 years old. And if I can't make any more, then that means that's all there is. Or the Mantle card. That's it. They can't reprint 1960 card. They can do it, but then they got to say, well, this is a 2001 1965 Mantle card. But the real 65 Mantle card, they can't produce anymore. So once it's frozen and that's the supply, then the price goes. So that's what he's talking about there. This is a good one. I want to show you what $1 bought in 1972 versus what it buys now. We watched this, but I'm going to play it again.
America's most dependable full-size pickup. Page Chevrolet.
$14, a quart of in this video.
Okay, so this is what things costed, what you could get for $1 at the grocery store in 1972. And they can't. This is what inflation is. The value of the dollar, like it bought 2 packs of cigarettes in 1972. Now it takes $11, $12 to buy a pack of cigarettes. And that's the problem. The dollar has lost its value. That's what inflation is. Why has the dollar lost its value? Because they keep printing it. And the more there is, the less it's worth. And that's the problem with the dollar and them printing it. And the rapid inflation is not 2%. It's thousands of a percent. And you can't measure it in prices. You measure it in money printing. So this is what inflation is, this video, where things were much cheaper back then when we had gold, and now without gold and printing, it takes more dollars to buy Crest toothpaste or whatever.
We're going to look at what you could get for a single dollar bill in 1972 in the United States. I've chosen 1972 for a very specific reason. It was effectively the last year of the American Golden Era. It was the calm before the storm, just 1 year before the 1973 oil embargo and the onset of stagflation changed our economy forever. Incidentally, 1972 was also the first full year after President Nixon closed the gold window, meaning the US dollar was no longer convertible to gold. I didn't realize the impact of that until I started digging into these prices. So let's have a look at how the prices were back then compared to today, as of 2025. You may be shocked at some of the prices that have increased far more than others, some beyond belief. So here we go. Here is what you could get for your $1 in 1972. 1. A loaf of bread. You could get 4 loaves of bread for $1. As a loaf of white bread back in 1972, think Wonder Bread or Sunbeam, was around 24 or 25 cents. Today's prices for a name brand loaf like that, you're paying around $4.50. Now let's talk about the experience. In 1972, Bread was chemically fortified, impossibly white and soft as a cloud. It came in a plastic bag with a twist tie, and it was the staple of every school lunchbox in America. If you look at the inflation math, that 25-cent loaf jumping to $4.50 represents an increase of 1,700%. That feels criminal, doesn't it? If the minimum wage had tracked that same increase, we'd all be making $30 an hour minimum. But we all know bread is the baseline for survival. And right now,
Don't
the
know about
baseline
that.
is expensive. 2. A gallon of milk. For your $1, you could get nearly 2 gallons of milk. Back in 1972, the price was around 58 to 60 cents per gallon. Today's price averages around $4.20. So that's roughly a 600% increase. The packaging was changing in 72. We were moving away from the glass bottles delivered by a milkman and toward the translucent plastic jugs we know today. But here is the shrinkflation check. Milk is one of the few things that hasn't shrunk. A gallon is still a gallon. However, the quality has shifted. In 1972, milk spoiled faster. It was fresher. Today's milk is ultra-pasteurized to sit on shelves for weeks. But here is the kicker. In 1972, you could work for 20 minutes at minimum wage to earn that gallon. Today, you have to work nearly an hour. The liquid hasn't changed, but the effort to get it has tripled. 3 dozen eggs. The price of fresh eggs. Why not get 3 dozen? Because that's what you could get for $1 in 1972. They were roughly 30 to 35 cents a dozen. Today's prices? I barely have a clue because they fluctuate so wildly, don't they? You've got your free range, your cage-free, your organic. But even a standard carton of factory eggs today hovers around $3.50 or $4. That is an increase of over 1,000%. In 1972, eggs were the cheap protein. Bacon and eggs wasn't a luxury breakfast. It was the standard fuel for the American workforce. You bought them in flimsy cardboard cartons that felt like they were going to disintegrate in your hands. Today, if you walk into a grocery store with $1, you can't even buy a single egg in some places. The humble egg has become a luxury good. 4. A tin of coffee. For your $1 in 1972, you could buy a full 1-pound tin of coffee, usually Folgers or Maxwell House, which cost about 85 to 90 cents. You'd have a dime left over. Now, we need to talk about shrinkage. In 1972, a can of coffee was 16 ounces, a full pound. Today, go look at the plastic tubs or bags. They are 12 ounces, sometimes 10.5 ounces. They have shrunk the package by 25% or more. And the price? A 12-ounce bag of decent coffee today is $8 or $9. If we adjust for the weight difference to match the 1972 pound, you are paying close to $12. That represents an inflation rate of over 1,200%. We traded the affordability of the steel tin for a plastic tub and a massive price hike. 5. Swanson TV dinners. I remember these so well. In 1972, a Swanson TV dinner, Salisbury steak or turkey, cost about 39 to 49 cents. So you would get 2 full dinners for $1, perfect for date night on a budget. These were the American equivalent of the Vesta curries. You peeled back the foil, put the aluminum tray in the oven, and waited 45 minutes for the taste of the future. The corn tasted like metal, and the apple crisp burned your mouth like lava. But we thought it was fabulous back in those days. Today, a frozen meal is smaller, lighter, and costs $4 to $5 for a name brand. The shrinkflation here is in the calorie count. The 1972 tray was designed to feed a working adult. Today's frozen meals are basically snacks. 6. 2 packs of Marlboros. Let's move to the vices. A pack of cigarettes back in 1972 was around 45 to 50 cents. So you could get 2 packs for your $1 from a vending machine. As today, $10 or even $15 in places like New York would buy you a single pack. So that's an increase of nearly 3,000%. Now I'm talking about percentages for a reason. This increase isn't just inflation, it's tax. In 1972, the health costs weren't factored in. Smoking was everywhere, offices, planes, grocery stores. The experience was mechanical. You pulled a heavy knob on a machine in a restaurant lobby, and the pack dropped with a thud. 2 packs for $1 felt fair then. Today, the price is punitive. 7. A 6-pack. Well, almost. Down at the liquor store, if you wanted a 6-pack of beer, Budweiser, Schlitz, or Miller, it was around $1.20 in 1972. So, strictly speaking, your dollar was just short. But you could easily buy a massive 32-ounce quart bottle for about 60 cents and still have change for peanuts. Now, the average price of a 6-pack of domestic beer ranges between $9 and $11. So I've gone for $10 as an average price as of 2025. That is an increase of roughly 800%. But look at the beer itself. In 72, beer was yellow, fizzy, and cold. There were no IPAs, no craft scene. You drank it from a pull tab can that you ripped off and threw on the ground. Littering was a different beast back then too. Your dollar in 72 bought you a good buzz. Today, it won't even cover the bottle deposit. 8. McDonald's Quarter Pounder. 1972 was a big year for fast food because the Quarter Pounder had just gone national. It cost 55 cents. A regular hamburger was 28 cents. So with your dollar, you could get a Quarter Pounder and a regular fry, 24 cents, and still have change.
Look at that
Today,
menu.
the Quarter Pounder with cheese meal is upwards of $11 or $12. Even just the burger is $6. That's a 1,000% increase. And here is the shrinkflation check. The patty is still technically a quarter pound before cooking, but the bun is airier and the cheese seems thinner. In 1972, fast food was a treat, and the fries were cooked in beef tallow, which made them taste amazing. Today, you pay 10 times as much for vegetable oil and disappointment. 9. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sunday dinner in 1972 often meant a trip to Colonel Sanders. A multi-piece box of chicken, let's say a snack box with 2 pieces and a biscuit, was around $1, maybe $1.10. Today, a 2-piece meal at KFC is nearly $9. The biscuit is definitely smaller, I've checked. The potatoes are instant powder. The inflation rate here hits hard because chicken was supposed to be the cheap meat. In 1972, you walked into the store, smelled the grease, and carried that red and white box out like a trophy. It was affordable family fuel. Now, a bucket of chicken feels like a luxury purchase for a special occasion. 10. A shot of whiskey. If you wanted something stronger, the math gets interesting. In 1972, a shot of blended whiskey, like Seagram 7 at a dive bar, was 50 cents. Your dollar slammed on the bar top, bought you 2 shots. The bar scene in 72 was dark, wood-paneled, and smoky. The jukebox played Rolling Stones or Al Green. Today, a shot of well whiskey at a dive bar is $5 minimum, often $8. That represents a 1,500% markup. The happy hour of 1972 was actually happy. Today, you have to work nearly an hour at minimum wage just to buy 1 drink to forget about work. 11. Hershey bars. Chocolate. Well, I've chosen a Hershey bar because it's the standard, isn't it? You could get 10 Hershey bars for $1 in 1972. They were 10 cents each. Today, a standard bar is roughly $1.50 to $1.79. That is a 1,500% increase. But we all know about shrinkage, don't we? The bar back in 1972 was substantial, about 1.26 ounces, but it felt thicker. The formula has changed too. More sugar, less cocoa butter. In 72, a kid could find a dime on the sidewalk and have a great afternoon. Today, a dime on the sidewalk is basically trash. 12. Coca-Cola. You could buy 10 bottles of Coke because the price was 10 cents plus a deposit. And these were the glass bottles, 6.5 ounces or the newer 10-ounce ones. Now, the price of a single bottle of Coke varies anywhere from $2 to $3 at a convenience store. But the real loss here is the ingredients. In 1972, Coke was made with real sugar. Today, unless you buy the expensive Mexican imports, you're drinking high fructose corn syrup. So you are paying 2,000% more for a chemically inferior product. 13. 3 gallons of gas. This is the big one. you could get nearly 3 gallons of gas for $1. 36 cents was the national average price in 1972. Today, the national average hovers around $3.50. The experience was totally different. You rolled over a rubber hose that went ding ding. An attendant came out, yes, a human being, pumped the gas, checked your oil, and wiped your windshield. All for 36 cents a gallon. The air smelled of tetraethyl lead. Today, you pump it yourself, watch ads on a little screen at the pump, and pay 10 times the price. And remember, 1972 was the last year of cheap gas. In 73, the embargo hit, and we never went back. 14. A quart of motor oil. Car maintenance in 1972 was a DIY religion. You didn't go to Jiffy Lube. You went to the auto parts store. A quart of high-quality motor oil cost 40 to 50 cents. Your dollar bought you 2 cans. Today, a quart of synthetic oil is $9 or $10. Even the cheap stuff is $6. That's a 1,100% increase. The cans in 72 were metal. You needed a church key opener to punch holes in them. It was messy, it was manly, and it was cheap. Now maintenance is a luxury service. 15. The car wash. If you wanted to keep that 1972 Ford Pinto or Mustang looking shiny, a basic exterior wash was often exactly $1. Today, a basic car wash is $10 to $15. The works can be $25. Your dollar in 1972 kept your ride looking brand new. The machinery was loud and brutal, giant bristles slapping your car, but it worked. Today, your dollar gets you maybe 3 minutes at a self-serve vacuum machine. 16. A movie ticket. 1972 was the year of The Godfather. A movie ticket cost roughly $1.70 for an adult, but for a child or a matinee, it was often $1 flat. Today, a ticket in a major city is $18. IMAX is $25. That is a 1,700% increase. In 1972, you went to a single-screen theater with red velvet curtains. There were no 20-minute commercial blocks, just the cartoons, the trailers, and the film. A teenager could work 1 hour at minimum wage, $1.60, and see a movie. Today, a teenager has to work nearly 3 hours just to get in the door. 17. Vinyl records. If you wanted to buy a record that was in the charts, a 45 RPM vinyl single, you could get one for about 89 cents to 99 cents. Your dollar bought you the song of the summer. They were sold in department stores like Sears or dedicated record shops. You own the music. Today, you pay $1.29 for a digital download you don't really own, or $15 for a collectible 7-inch vinyl. The dollar in 1972 bought you a physical piece of art. 18. Postage stamps. Want to post a letter? Today, a first-class stamp is approaching 70 cents. Crikey! Back in 72, a first-class stamp was 8 cents. You could post 12 letters for your dollar and still have 4 cents left over. You could pay all your bills by mail for $1. The glue tasted terrible and you had to lick them, but the utility was undeniable. The price of moving information has skyrocketed in the physical world, even if it's free in the digital one. 19. The Sunday newspaper. How did you know what was happening? You bought the Sunday paper. A massive Sunday edition of the New York Times or your local Gazette cost 50 cents. Your dollar bought you the Sunday paper and a daily for the rest of the week. Today, a Sunday print edition can cost $6. The paper in 72 weighed 3 pounds. It had the comics, the TV guide, the classifieds. It took all morning to read. Today, you hit a paywall online after 3 articles. 20. The wage gap analysis. Now, in order to afford all these items in 1972, obviously you needed a job. And this is where the shocking part really hits home. The federal minimum wage in 1972 was $1.60 an hour. Men over 18 would have to work for about 37 minutes to earn $1, based on the minimum wage. However, the average wage for a man was around $4 an hour, so he earned that dollar in 15 minutes. But women didn't get it so good. The average hourly pay for a woman in 1972 was significantly lower, often around $2.50 an hour for similar office work. She had to work nearly 25 minutes to earn that same dollar. It was unequal. The Equal Rights Amendment passed Congress in 72, but as we know, the economic disparity persisted. Just one more thing. That dollar in 1972 could theoretically keep a single person alive for a day on food staples. Today, it won't even buy the shopping bag to put them in. Anyway, I'll leave it there. It really makes you think about what we've lost in terms.
So that's what inflation is. The only thing he didn't say was gold was $35 an ounce in 1972. I don't think you could buy it till 73 or 74, but it was $35 an ounce. Now it's 4,500. Silver was $1 in 1972. Is now just hit 79. So you imagine the inflation there. Again, it's the dollar being printed to death, and it has no value. Why would it change? Why would Coke go from 10 cents to $3 now? Why the difference? Because it takes more money to buy the same good because it's not, the money's now doesn't have the value it used to. Let's see. Can you behold Teacher King doing God's work? Thank you. Thank you, behold. I appreciate that. That's the whole point of the class here. So this is the football. I'm really making you money if you just follow what I'm teaching. You'll make a lot of money because I've been doing it since 1975, basically. With gold and silver, you just don't know that that's the correct move, and not to sell it. And when they say inflation's 2%, I laugh. I'm going, in what world is it 2%? You got different. They just showed you 20 different items, and the inflation was all over the place, and it was always 7, 8, 1,000%. So when they measure inflation, it goes back to 1972, not last year. You don't look at a 2-liter of Coke and say, "Oh, that's what it was," and gosh darn it, it really didn't go up since last year, so there is no inflation. I mean, that's just insanity. You printed it to nothing. It's not worth anything. None of these dollars are worth anything, right? So the most fundamental thing is that just laugh. These aren't worth anything. The British pound is not worth anything. There is no French franc to do it. Any dollar in Africa or Asia or Europe or Latin America is worthless. That's why BRICS is getting all the gold, and they're coming out with gold-backed currency next month. China and India and Africa, the whole country of Africa, continent, and Latin America, and then Russia's coming in, I think, in February. So why are they coming out with gold-backed currency? And notice how the prices will reduce and not go up. And the other thing that bothers me is, like we was talking about milk, where it was made a certain way and now it's made differently. Where Coca-Cola was made with sugar, now it's made with high fructose corn syrup. That's the other part of it. It's not as healthy for us. It's not good. That's why I'm eating Celtic salt and cayenne pepper and ginger and everything, is specifically because you don't get the minerals that you used to get. I mean, I'm very healthy for my age, and I haven't been to a doctor in years. There's no reason to. I keep getting calls. Oh, you want Medicare or Medicaid or whatever the fuck it's called? I go, no, I don't go to a doctor. If I eat like this and fast, take 2-3 day fast, I'm fine. Because everybody's eating this high fructose corn syrup, they're all getting sick is basically what's happening. But people are blindsided. They don't know it. It's just like money. You don't understand your money is worthless. He made a comment about for the records, right? You used to get the album, right? The vinyl, big 78s or whatever. He says now it's digital. For $1, you get a digital thing, but you don't have it. And that's my point with Bitcoin, and that's my point with this digital shit. You don't have it. So when you got Bitcoin, you don't have the money. In physical world that we live in, gold and silver, we have it. We have the gold, we have the silver, right? As I was showing you my maple leaf, I put it away. When I broke my lock, then you have it. And once you have it, then it's yours. They can't take it away from you. But in digital world, you don't have anything. This is probably the biggest concern I have is Bitcoin is people thinking it's real. It's not. People thinking it has a value, but it's priced in dollars. And this is the biggest factor that I'm going is anything priced in dollars isn't really worth anything. So what was a house back in 1972? It was 25,000. It's now, let's say, 500,000. Why? It's the same house. It's probably made a lot cheaper, and the dollar is worthless. So what you're doing is you're killing a lot of markets, like McDonald's. You saw the board, 50 cents, 75 cents for a burger and fries and everything. I went to Culver's yesterday. What a joke that place is. I got onion rings and I got a bowl of chili. It was almost $9. It was $4.75 for the chili. And they come in these little small cups. They're not big like you would get at like here. I mean, this is what I would get at like even at Coney Island, right? A bowl of chili and it's for something. And it Culver's, it's a little cup and it's $4. So you think, oh, $4 for chili, but until you realize the portions are super small. So I'm going to attack you, Culver's. What you're doing is bad and it's wrong. You're making it appear that broccoli, $3. You're giving 3 broccolis in a little cup. If you're going to do it right. $7 for a quarter pound burger is a joke when I can get a pound at the grocery store for $6. I made 2 pounds of sloppy Joe for Christmas Eve, which I'm still eating. And it was, I think it was $6.50 a pound. Because if you buy 3 pounds, you get a discount. So I got 2 pounds and another pound. So I got 3 pounds of it. So for $13, I got 2 pounds of burger, which would make 8 quarter pounders for the 13, and you're charging me $7 for a little quarter pounder at Culver's. So yeah, you got to be careful with fast foods. I'd rather go to Coney Island than fast foods or even Big Boy. I ate at a Big Boy the other day. And they had a little, the burger, the big boy, but you got the salad bar, which was good. I could get 2-3 salads and soup, and for the price of what you would get anyway. And it's the dollar has no value, but they won't tell you that. And they keep printing the money because they got the interest on the debt and they got to pay all the government workers and Social Security and Medicare because they've screwed everybody with Social Security. Why are you taking money out and then, you take my money, you take 15% of my paycheck, 7.65 plus the employer share. That's 15% you take because the employer could give me that 7.65. So you've been taking it, and I started working at 16, and you're taking it and taking it and taking it. And then when I get a retire, you raise the age, you default. Why are you even involved in that? Just let me get my paycheck, and if I'm smart enough, I'll save it, and I'll buy gold and silver with it, or I'll buy something, and I'll invest it. And then then I'm ready to retire, which I probably could have retired at 50. But instead, I'm still, looking for work because you guys are just giving me a small amount of my money back. Now, fortunately, being in gold and silver, my retirement just got a lot sooner as I'm taking care of my own retirement with gold and silver. So why do we buy gold and silver? Because it's the exact reverse of paper. Why is this worth nothing? Because they keep printing it. They keep printing it. They keep printing it. And it's not backed by anything, so it doesn't hold its value. On the other hand, gold and silver, you can't print. That's the key to gold and silver that you must understand. What's a market? It's something that there's a buyer and a seller. everybody looks at gold and silver as money. And therefore, the demand for it as money is huge. You can't print it. So why gold? Because that's the most demanded thing. People look at it as money, look at it as value. Let's put it that way. Now, what Alistair McLeod keeps getting wrong is he thinks the value is going up because the dollar's going down. I mean, he doesn't get it. It's going up because there's huge demand for it, because everybody in the marketplace says, well, gold, yeah, it's real pretty and it's real limited. Once you put 2 and 2 together, you go, well, the value is going to go up, and there's still demand for it. The demand keeps coming in from bricks, from all over, everywhere. Everybody wants it. Well, of course, that's why the price goes up, not because the dollar goes down. That's just an idiot talking. Now, what he's trying to do is go through the example I just showed you. Oh, Coke was 10 cents for a bottle, probably $1.50 or $2 for a bottle. Well, actually, it's like the 20-ounce plastic you see at the gas stations and at the grocery store. You buy one bottle, is like what, $2.50 now. So it went from a dime to $2.50. That's what he means, but that's still done by the market. The market does everything. All right. So the fact that the dollar, the people running the dollar, the Fed and the central banks and the government don't know what they're doing, and they keep printing it. And that's why I keep fighting, going, no. The inflation is much more than 2%. It's huge. And the demand is going away. Nobody wants it. That's why all the BRICS countries are selling the T-bills and the treasuries. They don't want it. They know they're never going to get paid back. And if they do, it's worthless junk dollars. The dollar's junk. It's not worth anything. Now, why do they keep taking it to the grocery store? Because legally they have to. The government says to Kroger's, you must take dollars. So they do. Now, as I say, and that's why I'm being cute with Rumpelstiltskin, is if I get paid in dollars because I can't get paid in gold and silver, what am I doing? I'm running to the gold store and I'm buying more gold and silver. And how much is enough? There is no point. If you still have dollars, you need to get rid of them. You keep a couple thousand, you keep about 3 or 4 months worth of living expense in dollars, and then the rest goes into gold and silver, because you don't want to be cashing in your gold at 3,000 an ounce. Now it's 4,500. I don't want to cash in anything at 4,500. You do not profit take. You cannot profit take. Profit taking is, only an idiot would do that. Well, Howard, I made money. I bought it at 2,000 and now it's 4,000. Look, I made $2,000. That's the key. You made dollars that are worthless. You don't want to make worthless dollars. You want the gold. It's going to keep rising because they keep printing the dollar. They're not backing the dollar by anything. And if you don't back it, you don't anchor it with gold or silver, it's never going to get stronger. It can't get stronger because they keep printing it because they need more and more money to pay for the government employees and the interest on the debt. They'll never pay the debt off. And then there's the Social Security and the defense spending. So all that is, we got to spend more and more and more. People getting older, they're not working, they're trying to retire. Stock market's about to collapse, but they keep the stock market up to keep 99% of the population clueless, going, well, look, the market's 48,000. See, the economy's good. No, it isn't. The economy sucks. The economy is not good because of the stock market. The whole economy is based on this, and this sucks, and this is worthless. That's the point of it. Why do you think silver's 79? And to answer the first question, is it going to go up or down? It's going to 1,000. It's going to 2,000, 5,000. It's just going to keep going up because as people don't realize that the dollar is worthless. That's the hard part. So I talked to my friend, he's got 450,000 in his 401k and he thinks he's wealthy. And I go, you don't have anything. It's not worth anything because it's in dollars. Anything in this is not worth anything because that's not worth anything. Your $500,000 house isn't worth anything. Now, it's still a house and it'll still carry value like a mantle card. Even though in dollars it's worth something, when the dollar collapses, yeah, the mantle card is, how do you value it? That's going to be that's the next level. How do we value the mantle card? How do we value our house, our car? How do we value food and clothing? And that's where the market comes in. But we need, at the end of the day, a new currency, a new medium of exchange. So if this is gone, we need something backed by a commodity, gold or silver. That's what we must have to have a strong dollar. Now, we've been getting away with this since 1972, but you can see the result. Everything takes more dollars to buy Hershey's and Coke and all that. And that's the point. And gas, 33 cents. Well, that's also price fixed. Gas, I filled up yesterday for $2.59 for unleaded. You've got to be kidding. I mean, it should be $20 based on the inflation, but that's also being held down. So that's the only good thing the government does is hold the gas down. A lot of these markets are collapsing, and they'll call it deflation, which is not a real word. It's not a real thesis. Deflation doesn't exist. It's basically the market collapsing. So if all of a sudden there's no market for my Canadian club, so let's say this is $100 because it's 12-year-old 1997, and all of a sudden I can't. There's nobody has money because the money is worthless, so nobody can buy this. And they want to call it deflation. It's not deflation. It's the market has busted. This is the biggest problem with business. So now I can't sell it because there's no demand, because nobody has money to buy it, because the money's broke. And this is the biggest problem most 99.5% of the businesses have. They live in the past. They don't keep up with their market. They don't understand. Vegas is a perfect example where you've changed the market. You've changed the dynamics. So I watched that show Vegas with James Caan, or I watched The Gambler with James Caan. Seems to be a lot of Vegas. And you see the crowd and people playing slot machines and drinking and smoking in the casinos and having a good time and getting cheap meals. That's Vegas. That's the market. But you've changed it. You got rid of all that. Did the market come along and say, hey, we don't want free parking, and we don't want, we want resort fees. We want to pay for parking. We want to pay $20 for a drink. We want to pay $40 for a hamburger. Did the market come and say that? I don't believe so. The market's still back in the 70s and 80s going, yeah, we like $3 steaks and no parking and no resort fee. That's what the market wants. You've come out and tried to change the market, or went to a market that doesn't exist. So with inflation, things cost more, as you see, the pop and the milk and the McDonald's. Well, you're not getting raises at work, and the dollar keeps losing value every day as they keep printing it every month. Oh, you got to print Social Security and pay for all the government employees. That's why you can't have a large government. So as you keep doing this shit, the dollar keeps losing and losing value. So when I hear some idiots say, well, the U.S. can just print as much dollars as they want because we're the reserve currency, they got their heads so far up their ass, it's unbelievable. They're wrong. You can't print and print and print and think the value won't drop. And you can see what's happening from 1972. They've printed and printed and printed, and we've been the reserve currency, and coffee's $10 where it was $1, and cigarettes were that. Now, part of the cigarettes was the taxes, but still, you got that, and then you've got Coke, and you've got candy bars, and all that stuff, Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's why it's more expensive. So I have less money to pay for other things, which are now more expensive. So what Vegas is doing is they're trying to have they want a market that doesn't exist, and that's the problem with it. So that's what I'm saying as far as like Canadian club. Well, is there still a market for it? Yeah, but we can't get that much because people can't afford it, so they can't pay what they should. That's why the housing market's collapsing, because who has $500,000 now to buy a house? Nobody. Same thing with a car. They want to sell. They can't. Ford keeps raising prices and they can't sell. And there's miles and miles and miles of millions of cars on dealerships, parking lots that they can't sell because people frankly don't have the money for it, or they need the money to eat and not have a car. And again, you've got to understand your market. So what I was initially saying is, if I do Teaser King, right? That's one of my things. But if they said, well, you can't gamble anymore, you can't bet on football anymore, or football went away, I'd have to be smart enough to say, well, where's my market now? It's gone. I still have a market with Teaser King and teasers, and that's fine. But if they outlawed football or said there's no more, then I can't just sit there and, well, I'll do this and that. And the last thing I can do is raise my prices to get more business. That's the stupidest thing you can do. That's what Vegas is doing, raising their prices to try to get more money in to pay their rent. And that's all collapsing. Vegas will be broke very soon if it already isn't. And so you have to understand your market, which are people who are buying your goods and or services. So attorneys that charge $500, I just laugh at, like, good luck for you. I don't know who can afford $500 for an attorney. And then they fuck you. They're all scumbags. They all fuck you over. Like Attack on Wall Street, the guy needed 10 grand to get the attorney, Maroney from Batman. And so he gives him 10 grand and the guy fucks him over. He doesn't do anything and has no intention of getting his 60,000 back. So he just wasted 10 grand of his friend's money on that. I'm surprised he didn't shoot the attorney. He should have shot him too. But that's what you have. This idiot going to the Lion game, provoking the receiver. That what kind of world do we live in now? Would you have saw that in the 1970s? You think, hey, Dick Butkus, come here. Oh yeah, you're this, you're that. And Dick Butkus would have killed the guy, right? He'd have strangled him, and he'd have been right. They wouldn't have done anything to Dick Butkus at the time, or Joe Green, or any of these players. They never would have done anything. It's just stupid. That's where we're becoming a very socialist country, which is very scary. Too much government control. We're about freedom. It really pisses us off. That's why we buy gold and silver, is for the freedom. They can't. What are they going to do to it? They don't even know we have it until we sell a little bit. And they really don't. I don't know if they know that we had it then, or how much we had. Maybe we had 1 ounce and we sold it for $4,500. Okay. But anyway, understand what a market is, and the market's changed. So if you're in business, that's the first thing you have to understand. The market's changed. You have to understand what the market is, what they're willing to pay, and some products you need to get rid of, some products you need to add, depending on what you're doing. And a perfect example is what's my shirt? The Polo brand. So I have a Polo golf shirt, right? Now they're like $100. I went up north and they want $100 for the shirt. I bought them for $30, $35. And they don't understand their market. Who's out there thinking that Polo, I'm going to pay $100 for a Polo shirt? Who has $100 to do it, to buy a shirt with? Nobody. I don't care how rich I am, right? I don't care. Gold goes up to 100,000 an ounce. I still ain't buying the Polo shirt for $100. You're over market. Steak, I go to the butcher at the grocery store, and he's $20 for a New York strip, and I point blank say you're over market. It's not. It's a fair trade is what we're looking for. We both get value. I give you $13 for the steak, and you give me the steak and you get the money. But when you're charging too much, I'm not seeing the value in it. So I'm not going to buy it. And you're stuck with your steak that you want to sell. Well, if you want to sell it, you better lower your price to the market. This is what most grocery stores don't get, and most people don't get. You'll hear these guys talking on whatever these channels. I don't listen to them, but they'll sit there and say, well, the prices are going to go up. It's inflation. Prices are going. They don't even understand inflation. It's money printing, not prices going up. It just takes more dollars to buy it, is what's perceived as that. But the market controls it. If you want to have a Hershey's bar for $5, nobody's going to buy it. They tell you to fuck off. I'm not going to pay. You have to meet the market, and the market has to feel value. Is it a fair trade? I don't think $5 for a candy bar is a good value. It's a good profit for me. No, it's too high. It's not a fair trade. I'm not going to do it. I give you $5 for a candy bar. It's not worth it. Now, if you give me that, so you'll see it with like $3.50 for a 2-liter of Coke now, but then you'll see 2 for $5. So what they're trying to do is give you more value for your money because there is no market for $3.50 2-liter Coke. Maybe for Christmas, but even then, Christmas and New Year's, like New Year's coming up, I guarantee you the grocery stores will have them all 2 for $5 because they know nobody wants to pay $3.50. And as they just said, it's all high fructose corn syrup. It's not even sugar anymore. Sugar is bad enough for you, but high fructose corn syrup will kill you. And that's not a joke. That will kill you. Get away from high fructose corn syrup. So they don't understand their market. So they start putting things on sale because we're saying it's not a fair value for us. The market's saying the value isn't fair. The market, this went up. This used to be like 99 cents. It went up to $2.50. I won't buy them. I'll buy the small ones, or I go to Walmart or something. Then finally, my grocery store is now it's down to $1, $1.25. Now I see the value's fair. But I'm not going to pay $5 for an avocado, even though it's very healthy for me and I want to eat it. I'm going to shop around for it cheaper because an avocado is an avocado. It doesn't matter. You can't. It's not like if I buy it at one grocery store for $5 and the other one for $2. There's no difference. They're avocados. So it's about finding what the market will bear. What will the market pay for your good? Is there a market? Does somebody want what you're selling? And at what price do they perceive it to be a fair value? I was at Toyota and they raised the price on Camry when the tariffs came in, whatever. And I bought mine for $24,000, went up to $35,000. It's not a fair value. He said, I can't sell any. I go, because there's no market for it. And I did this to him and I said, here's your market, $25,000. You're up here. Who are you selling to? There's nobody here. There's nobody home. Nobody's going to pay for it because there's no market up there. And he lowered it to 26 and he started selling again. So you've got to understand what a fair value is to the market. That's key, right? Movies, $25 for IMAX. You probably don't get anybody there. And now that you have all this, well, even like we were talking about football, is it a fair value for me to pay whatever it costs to watch on Paramount Plus today? The Green Bay games on Paramount. Is that a fair value when I get the games for nothing and I got to sit through the stupid commercials, which is, even though it doesn't cost me anything, my time is valuable. And to sit there, I was watching on Netflix on Thursday because I have Netflix already. And it would be like 2-minute commercials. And it would say 2 minutes and countdown. And then the team would punt, 2 minutes countdown. Then 2 plays later, there's an injury, 2 minutes countdown. And then the end of the quarter, 2 minutes countdown. And that was on Netflix, but normally it's free when you watch on Fox or something. You're looking at 4 or 5 minutes of commercials for a measurement or for a replay or for an injury. And so, I mean, I have no market. There is no market to watch on Amazon Prime or to watch on Paramount. Is there a market that people are saying, I want to pay to watch the Green Bay Baltimore game on Paramount? Is there a market for that? Does anybody do? And then if there is, what's the value? What are you paying? I don't know, because I have no desire to pay to watch a game when 99% of them are on Fox or ABC or CBS and they're free. So if I'm getting it so in other words, if I go to this grocery store, I get the Coca-Cola for $1, but you want me to go over to this grocery store and pay $5 for it. You think I'll pay $5 for it? Well, it's the only way to get it is to go to this grocery store. And I'll go back to the other one and I'll pay $1 for it. This is the problem. So you must first understand inflation is The money has no value. Secondly, a market. What is a market? There's a buyer and a seller. And the third thing, and most important, what will they think is a fair value to pay for item A, B, or C, or whatever the hell you're selling? And that's where I say it's too high. Even though there's inflation and the steak for $20 is still a bargain because the $20 is not worth anything, it's still, I'll give you 12 for it. I'm not going to give you 20 because we're still limited in our dollars, right? We don't make more unless we're smart enough to go and make a lot in gold and silver. You don't want to make money in Bitcoin or stocks because you're still in this. This is the problem with Bitcoiners and stocks. You're still in this, which has no value. We are totally out of it. We're totally out of the dollar. We're not in stocks. We're not in the banks. We're nothing. We are in gold and silver physical. And yes, it's going up tremendously amount because it can't be printed and or inflated. And the demand is huge and the supply is tiny. And most of it's been bought. China has 80,000 tons. They probably buy another 5,000 every month. So there's very little supply left for you to buy. Now we buy ounces. We don't buy a big brick or, I'm going to buy a ton, 32,000 ounces. So obviously we just buy a couple ounces here and a couple ounces there. But as the price is going up, we're enjoying, especially in silver as it's going up. But see, we're on a reverse market there where the price is here and we're only paying this. And this is very unusual. Normally it's the other way around. The price, what you should be paying like for a hamburger, but you're paying this, right? You're paying more than what you should be. Where gold and silver is, this is what it's really worth and this is all we're paying. So we stand in that line every day and we just keep buying and buying and buying and holding and holding and holding because we know it's going up because demand and it can't be inflated or printed. And that's a key if you're going to do it. So with your money, putting your money in stocks and thinking your 500,000 in your IRA in your 401k is actually worth something, you're being scammed. You're being Madoff. Well, I got $1 million in Madoff and he keeps giving me 15%, but it isn't real. The amazing part about Madoff is he actually did pay everybody for the 20, 30 years he was in it. People would get statements and people would get their money. And they were all happy. I'd get 14% from Madoff. I don't care if he invested or not. I don't understand that being a Ponzi scheme, to tell you the truth. He invested, people gave him money, which he gave out. He handed out, everybody got paid. I really don't get the problem. A normal Ponzi scheme is you're not getting paid, right? I get the money from Joe, but I'm not giving you, I just keep it. That's what a real Ponzi scheme is. What Madoff did was, I don't see how it's really illegal. Why do you have to invest if you pay out everybody? If I'm paying out 15%, why do I have to invest it anywhere where I could lose? Instead, I can't lose. So I really struggle with what Madoff did was wrong because of the fact he didn't invest. As long as he paid everybody, I think that was fine. Profit. I'm surprised these casinos in Vegas haven't started going back. Oh, they have started going bankrupt. Absolutely. Caesars is bankrupt. Venetian's is bankrupt. Bellagio is bankrupt. They're all bankrupt. They all have went to real estate trust of themselves. So they've sold the land and the casinos to this real estate trust, which is like Caesar's Palace, and they pay them rent. And then that's why they're raising prices to pay the rent. They can't pay the rent. So they're broke. Absolutely. In the 1970s, fans used to run onto the field all the time. Yeah, well, they're taking all the fun out of it. I mean, he hit the quarterback. That's part of it. And the problem is you're trying to not have injuries like on quarterbacks. Let's see. We have the third string quarterback for Washington, the third string quarterback for Minnesota, the third string quarterback for KC, the backups playing for Baltimore and Green Bay today, I believe. Darnold, who's a career backup, going against Steve Young, who's terrible. May against Cook. Cook's the third stringer for the JETSs. Ewers is the third stringer for Miami. Rivers, some retired guy playing. Shaw's the backup at New Orleans. Ward should not even be in the league. Rodgers, Prime Jr.'s the third stringer for Cleveland. Brissett's the backup. Dart's kind of the backup. Geno Smith shouldn't even be in the league. Hurts and Allen only had two starters, Caleb and Purdy. Caleb shouldn't be in the league, but Purdy's good, and Stafford's really good, and Cousins is a backup. So all these stupid rules, you can't hit the quarterback, you can't do this, you can't do that. All it's doing is turning off the market. The market wants to see the hits. We're the market. We want to watch football. We want to see quarterbacks get sacked. We don't care if they get hurt. We just adjust to our betting. We are watching it for betting. That's the point. And we want these guys getting hit. We like seeing the hit action. And you're taking that away. You're basically ruining the game for us. And then all these, why is everything under review? The guy makes a catch near the sidelines. Well, wait, we got to review that. Even though the ref was 3 feet away looking and watching, we need to review it. The guy scores a touchdown. We need to review it. Why is everything reviewed? It's sickening. I don't want to see the review. He went in, the ref's 2 feet away. The ref called it a touchdown. It's a touchdown. Live with it. And this is the problem I have. On this DK Metcalf, the guy should never be suspended for 2 games. That's ridiculous. Because you're letting the fan get away with provoking. Anyway, so really, what is the market? And even like the Lions charge $500 a ticket. Only idiots are paying this $500. I mean, what the fuck? Why would you pay $500 for yourself? You take your wife or you take your kids. It's $1,000, $2,000 to go see the Lions. Why? And they suck. So, I mean, you're running into that where you're testing the market, or where they really love football, so they'll go, we can charge anything. No, you can't charge anything. You can only charge what the market will pay. And that's the key to it. That's the most important thing you have to understand. But that's in anything. Cigarettes, Coke, beer, whiskey, cars, houses, whatever your product, that's what it is. Now, in gold and silver, as people realize the dollar's worthless, as people realize they need gold and silver to survive, that's, if you notice, the price going up, because they're raising the price, but they're really not. It's not because of COMEX, who kept the price down. So COMEX was like, well, we're going to keep the price down and we'll keep people in dollars. These people who ran that are so fucked up. They're idiots. They should be buying gold and silver and let gold and silver run to its normal market. And that's why I say you keep buying it, because gold and silver is not at its normal market. This is its normal market up here. And this is COMEX keeping a price down, suppressing it with paper. This is paper versus physical. So the real market's up here, which is what I keep saying. This is what people will really pay for it. I'm guessing 25 to 30,000 for gold, and at least it was 1,000, but I'm going to say more like 5,000 for silver. Let's say 2,500, but I think that's very conservative, because that's what the real market. That's what people, if you let it go, people would pay for gold and silver, because the reason they got to get out of the dollar. And once people realize that concept, that the Titanic's sinking and I have to get off and I get to the lifeboat, and that's what you have here. That's why I use that. The boat's sinking. You have to get off. The dollar is sinking. You have to get out of it. Well, I'll be in stocks. I'll play Bitcoin. You're still on the boat. You might be on the second or third deck, but the boat's still sinking. And until you get off, you got to get off the boat into the lifeboat. In our case, it's gold and silver. Is this lifeboat? This is gold and silver lifeboat. So until you realize that, you can be in stocks and Bitcoin and bonds and real estate trust all you want. The boat's still sinking. So we're running to the only lifeboats there are, which is gold and silver, because they can't be inflated or printed. And the price is what the price is. It keeps going up based on demand, not because the dollar's going down. The dollar going down is the ship sinking, but you still got to get to the lifeboat. And that's what a lot of these guys don't understand, is that they think, well, it's the dollar going down. That's why gold's going up. No. Gold's going up as always because of demand. As any other products, price goes up because of demand, not because the dollar's shrinking. So, it's hard. I keep putting it in his comments like, you're an idiot. That's not what's happening. It's the dollar. It's not the dollar going down because the dollar is worthless right now. So how can the dollar go down? It's the demand for the gold that's making the price go up, not the dollar going down. But it's like you're banging the head against the wall. Look, moron, it's the market that creates the price, and the market is everybody's buying gold and silver. In fact, it's becoming harder and harder to find, which makes the price go up even higher. Because to get my silver is just sitting here, but to get it, I need at least 4 digits. Give me $1,000 an ounce. I'll start giving you a few of them, but you're not getting most of them. Most of them are staying. So again, this is not a profit taking. This is not stocks. This is much, much different. This is money. This is things that have been suppressed and they're not worth anywhere near what you think they are. $79 silver, add a zero, and then you're getting close. You're getting warm when you say 790, and gold probably 40,000, and you're getting close to what the market is on those. At least 10 times, probably more. That's conservative, and it'll just keep flying because COMEX has lost it. They can't keep suppressing and suppressing. The banks are going broke because they suppress, and then China buys and says, give me delivery. There's no gold to get, so they got to go pay a lot more for the gold and the silver to pay China the delivery of the gold and silver on their contracts. That's why COMEX is gone. Understand what a market is. It's demand. Is somebody willing to buy what you're selling? And then it's the value. Are you giving me fair value? Are you giving me, I'm willing to pay $2 for tuna. You want to sell it for $4? Fuck you, keep it. When you're really to hit the market, that's what it looks like. What are you willing to pay for it? That's what I'm going to sell it for. Very simple. And when you can do that, then you'll be successful. If you want to keep raising your prices, everybody thinks prices will go up because of inflation. Only if the market allows it. You want to start charging $30 for steak? Fuck off. I'm not paying it. I'll eat chicken. Fine. But I'm not going to pay $30 for a steak. And you're not going to sell it. To most people aren't going to pay it. So now, if you want to sell your steak, you've got to meet the market and give me value for the steak. So $15 is a fair value to buy the steak, but not $30. And that's why everybody bitches, oh, well, they'll just raise prices. No, they won't. They won't be able to because the market, in other words, if you want to sell your steak, you better hit the price where people will buy it. So you can raise it. You can make it $100 a steak. You'll never sell any. So you can't just make it the price you want. You've got to make it the price that the market will pay because we feel the value to spend. The trade, we're trading, right? I'm trading you money for the steak, and it's got to be a fair trade, and I got to get value for my money. $50 for a steak is not good value for me. My value is $15. Now I'm getting a good value. And that's really the whole laws of economics and business. What happens is most people don't get that. They think, well, we'll just raise prices like Vegas. Well, we'll just add for parking fees and resort fees. Nobody wants to pay $30 for a beer. Nobody wants to pay $30 for a hamburger. I don't care if Gordon Ramsay or God made it. I'm not paying $30 for it. That's bullshit. I'll go to the store for $6.50 and buy a pound and it'll cost me $6.50. It won't cost me $30. Well, you're in Vegas, you court. Nah, I'll go to CVS across the street and buy salads and apples and stuff like that there. I don't need this. So that's really the key to it, is understanding it. And we do it with football all the time. You see a spread like New England, it's 13.5 or 13. And it's not good value. It's too risky because it's too big of a spread, even though they're playing the JETSs. So you try, that's what one of the things Teaser does, is gives us better value for our bet. But that's the point of it. So yeah, we got good value with the Rams at 8 down to 2, but the New England's a little bit pricey, not a real good value. So that's what we're looking for. So that's why your free play is the Rams. That's the best value on the board. And in college, they what do I got? Miami, Ohio State under is the best value because of those the two defenses. Nobody's scoring in that game, and that's how you read the game. You read the team. So that's your lesson for today, boys and girls. Again, you're willing to pay when you get value for it, right? 500,000 for a house is not good value unless you put it on an ocean. Then you sit there and go, well, that's a better value. It's on the ocean. So that's why everybody gets more money if it's on a lake or if it's on a sea or an ocean. You will pay more for it. Anyway, I think that's it. So good luck. Today I'll be on tomorrow about 11. If you need me, send me an email, www.teaserking.com. Again, I do have a special, $200, buys you everything for the rest through the Super Bowl. Normally it's $100 a week, so that'd be about $800, $900. You get all my picks, all my locks, and anything else. The locks are my favorite plays. You look at the game and you go, oh yeah, that looks good. The point spread's wrong. The over-under's wrong. I evaluate the teams and come up with, no, they're not going to, this spread should be 10 and it's only 3. Oh, okay, I'm going to lock it because I know what's going to happen. Like I did with Dallas, Washington. Looking at that game, I had Johnson, the quarterback for Washington. I said, with that, Dallas is going to win the game. Everybody played, and they won it 30-23. Their defense still sucks, but they were playing against Johnson. That's why it was a lock, because of Johnson. And Dak was playing, and CD Lamb was playing, and Dallas played, and Washington had third-string quarterback. So it was. And now if it was Daniels, I would have bet the game over, and it went over anyway. It was 53. The total over was 50. So in a teaser, 44. So really, that's what you're looking at when you think there's value. In the Detroit game, I thought, oh, they're Minnesota's high school quarterbacks playing. Detroit should be. He's not going to hurt Detroit's shit defense, and Jared Goff choked. And that's where Jared Goff stinks, is because in a big game, what does he do? He turns the ball. He doesn't win the game. All right, give Dak Prescott credit he won. Give Bo Nix, even with the third stringer for KC and at KC, he won the game. That's the point. That's why Goff stinks. When it's a must-win game, he doesn't show up. He's got his receivers. He's got his running backs. The fact you got backup on some of the offensive line, that's where the coach should come in and say, well, here's what we're going to do to offset the injuries. TJ Watt was out for Pittsburgh. They won the game. They held Detroit 2 weeks ago for Pittsburgh. So just because you lose your a few players doesn't mean anything. You've got to adjust. Okay, what do I have? Not what did I have? And then how do I, with this team, I shouldn't be running the ball with an offensive line that's crap. I should throw quick passes, quick screens, not let's run the ball up the middle for no gain against the Minnesota defense. And that's where the coach should be fired, because he doesn't understand how to handle a blitz or how to play call when your offensive line is injured. You need to be able to still play and win with what you got. And they shouldn't be on the team if they're not good. Well, we had to pay $50 million to Goff, and St. Thomas has to get 30, and the running back Gibbs has to get no, you don't pay him that much. You can't have all that, because then you have no money left for defense, no money left for offensive line. And you're way overpaying your quarterback because he doesn't produce when you need him to. And that's the simple thing. So that's, again, market. You're overpaying, and then you have no money left for the other guys that you need. And that's really the bottom line. So, again, you need somebody who understands where you're at. So, again, free play is the Rams on Monday night. I have I played both games today, and I played 4 or 5 games tomorrow. And again, if Baltimore wins, we'll bet Pittsburgh tomorrow because they'll need it. If Baltimore loses, Pitt clinches. I assume Aaron Rodgers will play, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. It'll be harder to play. And then we got to see who the backups are if they go to the backups. So we'll know that tomorrow. But that's really the only game like that. Green Bay, Chicago is playing for the 1 seed, so they're going to play. Seattle, the Rams, the Niners are all playing because they're all playing each other. Only one in is Philadelphia, and in the AFC, Denver with the win. They got San Diego next week, but I think they have a 2-game lead. I'm not sure. We'll look after this weekend, but San Diego, Houston has to win because they're playing. Houston's playing. They got to catch Jacksonville, who is playing Indy, and they could lose that game, although I think they'll win. But if Jacksonville wins, Houston must win. And on the other hand, if Jacksonville loses, but Houston plays today, so Houston has to anticipate Jacksonville winning. So they got to play. San Diego is kind of, can they catch Denver? So could be a game. And then Baltimore, Green Bay. Baltimore must win or they're out. Green Bay is in the playoffs, but they must win to catch the Bears. So it's still a game for them. But again, it's a game nobody will watch on Paramount because there is no market to buy football games on these streaming services. There's no market. You're trying to create a market that doesn't exist. Nobody wants to pay for it, just like we don't want to pay for parking or resort fees in Vegas. And they'll learn the hard way. So all you've done is taken these games off TV. And who does that benefit? Nobody, right? Does that benefit NFL Network or Paramount today by not having these games on? So now this is 5 games you've had this week that aren't on regular TV. I just happened to catch because they were on Netflix. You're pissing off a lot of people, NFL, because because the market's there and you're not giving. You want us to pay, which I'm guarantee you nobody's paying. Nobody wants to pay to watch games. We expect them to be free, and we have to sit through all the stupid commercials. But that's okay. But we're not going to pay to watch football. That's just insanity. And look at baseball. Their attendance is way down because nobody wants to pay because I can't even get a Tiger game on regular TV. So I'm like in Detroit, and the Tigers are on some pay network. Well, fuck you. I'm not going to pay to watch that shit. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. So Merry Christmas. Yeah, I got my portable Christmas tree. www.teaserking.com. Again, free play LA. Free play is the Ohio State and Miami under 48 and teaser. I have played the games today, and then as we go through the week, there's some games, and we'll have to see, like Tennessee, Illinois, is Daggio playing. So these, it's hard to bet them because we're assuming Daggio is playing. That's why we like the playoff games. I know I'm getting everybody nobody on Ohio State or Miami or Texas Tech sitting out. So I'll veer to that. But you just hope they play. There was one game today where the teams were going to – Georgia Tech, BYU, Haynes King's playing, BYU. They both want to win. BYU wants to show we should have been in the playoffs, and Georgia Tech's not just happy to be there. So both those games, both those teams are going to play to win. Now, I don't know if we get that in the other games or not, but that's the problem with the bowls. So it's really, they need to come up with something else because people are looking at them as exhibitions and not as real games. And when the coaches start sitting guys out and the guys start sitting out, we got a problem because we can't bet it because it's unknown. We don't know who's playing and who isn't. And if the coach is going to pull them, like on my Memphis NC State game, the coach, I got the backups in the fourth quarter. I need points. that I think I'm going to get, but my quarterback isn't playing. So the coach fucks me, right? So again, it's very disappointing. All right, anyway, www.teaserking.com. Buy as much gold and silver as you can. It's not going down. It's only going up because of demand, because you got to get out of the dollar and very low supply. So if you just understand basic economics, if there's a lot of demand and very little supply, the price has to go up. Don't sit on your 500K, 500,000 401K thinking you have money. You don't. The stock market will crash soon. It's being kept up by the government printing money that's worthless to keep it up because people don't have money. So all these companies their earnings are going to drop. And just like Vegas, they're all bankrupt. So most of these companies will go bankrupt or lose a lot of money, and only the smart ones have gold, which most of them don't. I'd say 99% of them don't have gold. They don't know what it is. All right, buy physical. Do not buy ETFs. Do not buy stocks. Just buy physical gold. Put it in your safe. Say thank you very much, and just sit and watch and do not profit take it. I don't care if you bought it for silver at $1 and now it's at 79. You're not profit taking it because you don't want to get back into the dollar. The paper dollar is worthless. You only, if you want to buy a watch or a mantle card or something that has value, then you can do that. But you really want to hold it because it's going to go $500, $1,000. Why sell it at 79? So anyway, have a good day, everybody. Let's go watch some football. I'm hungry. I want to eat. And www.teaserking.com. I will see you tomorrow. And no gold until the market comes back on tomorrow night about 6:30. All right. Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.